I'll leave out the rest.
Okay. Here we go. Welcome to Smudcast number 290. This is Black Panther, Africa Without Colonization by, you guessed it, Renegade Cut. It's that time of the month, folks. And what a great time of the month. The weather is warm, and we're all stuck inside watching a shitty video. It's fantastic times like this to remind ourselves why we're alive and where our brains should be, where our bodies shouldn't. So, you know.
Fucking based.
So
20 minutes.
This is a 20-minute video by Renegade Cut. Came out 2 years ago. It has almost 120,000 views. So nothing new. This is his typical stuff. Everyone loves his videos. We beat the crap out of them as best we can, but it'll be a long experience. I doubt we're going to finish this today. It's so long, and by long I don't mean 20 minutes. I mean long, meaning he says a word or two words, and then we have to say, wait a second, let's back up a few seconds. Hear that one more time.
And this is wrong from every perspective.
Yeah, Black Panther's a really bad movie. Like, by the way,
First of that, and if Hawk could make it, he could grace us with his historical knowledge, because African history is kind of something that got him into history.
I just barely took an African history class a few months ago, but I didn't really. It was online, so I wasn't. I was mostly I just read the readings, and some of it slipped away from my brain, but I'll remember at least a bit of it.
And before today, I had never watched the actual movie. I only saw the reviews, and I didn't get through the whole movie before the stream because it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. I'm just 90 minutes in, just after Killmonger got kinged and had his dream vision shit. Because every other scene I have to pause because something dumb is happening. This movie is really, really dumb. Without talking about any of the race stuff, it's just dumb. It's a badly written movie. Okay?
Yeah, there's a lot.
If you did this with Asians, if you did this with whites, doesn't matter. It would still be a dumb movie. It's badly written. Of these MCU superhero movies, this is a bad one.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the critics think it's.
The critics are
think it's.
Yeah, but the critics are race obsessed. They see, oh look, black people applaud the monkeys on the stage. How well they acted. Oh, they are so adorable. That's what's going on in the heads of the critics. Because really, when I watch the movie, what I see is this Wakandan culture is absolutely ridiculous. If you did an equivalent of this in let's say in Europe with some hidden Germanic tribe that built a secret metropolis with super high tech and not being Nazis, it would be an amalgamation of all the different. If it was made by the same kind of mindset here, it would have not just been an amalgamation of all the Germanic tribes, which would already be silly. This culture and language would then also incorporate all the Norse stuff, all the Celtic stuff, and probably some Slavic stuff as well. All mixed in because this is somehow what people of this skin taint, the skin color are doing, right? So it would be an absolute amalgamation of everything that has this skin tone, which is absolutely nonsensical. And then add in some tribal nonsense, put on some, well, if it would be Middle European, probably we have some tree shit on the roofs of our skyscrapers instead of straw. Like, what is this architecture?
It's really dumb.
Yeah, and then you add in some more occult stuff. And then you add in the European occult stuff. Occult? How do you pronounce that in English?
Occult. Either one. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then we do actually get, and when you then say, oh, it's an Afro-nationalist state, which is what Wakanda is more or less, that has tight borders. yeah, I guess if you mix in all these things that I mentioned with the super high tech and the occult stuff, it does kind of ring a bit Nazi-like. That is probably a secret Nazi nation that also don't give a shit about anyone who lives outside their borders.
Yeah.
It's just, but I'm getting too far into.
And
Come on, why
whole
would they?
thing.
Do you know? Guess what the best part of this movie is? Guess what happens at the end? Guess who they decide to help? Who the Wakandans decide to help?
Yeah, I didn't get that far yet, but I've seen it in reviews. They decide, instead of helping their fellow African nations right around them, which are shitholes like Sudan, Eritrea, and what was the other one?
Nigeria.
No, Nigeria.
Tunisia, Nigeria.
Tunisia is in the at the Mediterranean Sea in the north. Nigeria is on the west coast. No, this is more on the bit. It is landlocked, but it's on the east coast. It's on the verge between. When you see in the intro, the asteroid hits at a different place, by the way, than where Wakanda was built, and Wakanda is supposedly on the asteroid. So and when you do a tism like that in your intro, then I already call you a shit movie because you didn't even care about that. And don't give me the excuse of, oh, but it was just a story that the dad told his child, and yeah, it doesn't matter. The dad doesn't tell the child the geo coordinates of the asteroid or of Wakanda. But we see the representation of it, and you can be accurate there. You are a fucking fantasy sci-fi movie. You can at least stay accurate here. Because where was it? Because in the secret channel on the server, I had to vent all my frustrations with the movie, like I did with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Although I did that in a discussion channel back then, so everybody could that everybody could suffer with me. No, it was where is it? I had a map up here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's like
just give me a second.
Yeah, the magical balls have healing capabilities.
Oh yeah, the magic balls. My god, they just do everything. They just do absolutely everything. And they morph around, and they're bombs, and they're control devices, and apparently they also heal or contain spinal injuries. So that you're stable for a trip around the world from America to the heart of Africa. Just fuck it.
I asked
Bears, is that stuff in the? And I asked him, is that stuff in the comics? And he said, no, those were just a movie thing. And I trust him on that. It's just that why do you make that? Why do you make that shit? Okay. I scrolled up enough. This is somewhere. Wakanda is somewhere on the border between the asteroid hit. On the border triangle somewhere between Sudan. Yeah. Or was it South Sudan, Congo, and the Central African Republic? However, Wakanda allegedly is built in to the south of South Sudan and Ethiopia, in the northern corner of Kenya. That's a little off. It's a few hundred kilometers off, if not thousands. I don't know. There's no measure on this thing. And I don't know African distances. Sorry. Yeah, this is just this. If the intro fucks up this much, and I'm just going, okay, it's gonna be shit.
Either way,
Geography.
we gotta get going. This will take some time, so we should probably get started.
Yes. I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. No problem.
I can't help myself.
Believe me, you'll have many more things to say about Renegade Cut than the actual videos or the movie. So, anyway, 20 minutes.
I'm not even done with the movie yet.
Don't worry.
There's so many problems with this movie. There's like,
all right.
Yeah, let's get going.
Let's get started.
Your question, yeah. The Wakandans at the end of the movie decide, instead of helping their fellow Africans in shitholes like Eritrea, that is right around them. Eritrea is one of the worst countries on the fucking planet. They decide to help black Americans in the Bronx. Because apparently they're so oppressed and need help from outsiders. Just like which is just what the Democrats keep doing. They just give them handouts and keep them down. You could make the argument that the Wakandans probably won't keep the black urbanites dumb as well, but would actually want to uplift them. But that's probably everything. The real question is, why do they want to help black Americans when they could help actual Africans in Africa right away? Right outside the fucking
more
wall.
problems.
It even gets worse in the Falcon and Winter Soldier because it's like there's people in need of resources and they could help provide that, but I don't know.
Also, the Dora Milaje are now the Gestapo.
Oh yes, and they don't in fucking into Winter Soldier. They don't care about international law or any other jurisdiction. They just say we have jurisdiction where we are. Like if we enter a room, that's where we have jurisdiction. Like, whoa, cut the Nazi shit down, man. Woman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's crazy.
Wakanda is in the MCU. The MCU version. I don't know about the comic version. The comic version has explanations of why it's isolationist and keeps the other Africans starving. But the MCU version doesn't have these explanations. The MCU version is an evil nation. This Wakanda is not your friend.
All right.
No, they're not.
Let's get started. Let's get with the super chats, then we'll get the video going. Here's Stony Mick. Wakanda is only 3/5 of a country. I don't know how you got that number, but okay, I'll give you that. Here's Joe Crazy. I'm surprised there is still vibranium that hasn't been mined out. How big was this dang meteorite? It's kind of strange to see a massive celestial event. And no one was like,
it was like
by the time of the movie
years ago, right?
Years ago. By the time of the movie, the line is dropped that they've been mining this out for thousands of years. And
millions of years.
Thousands. But the way it hit and the way as big as it still is, because you see it from the laboratory, and the laboratory mine where they're still mining the thing is they say they have barely scratched the surface. So this thing is probably the size of a small moon, and is probably the extinction event asteroid that killed the dinosaurs in this. Or it has to be, or it has had to be some other extinction event thing, because this thing is just so fucking huge.
All right, blown up the planet.
Probably it would have eliminated everything.
I mean, they were trying to do that in Age of Ultron with the vibranium.
I'm honestly surprised that Ultron or any other alien civilization that came to Earth never noticed this huge vibranium deposit. I would imagine they would have wanted to go for it right away.
All right, one more, and then we get started. Here's Mike Testa. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Today sucks for me. Let's get this loser over with. Wow, I completely understand where you're coming from. That makes sense. Thank you, Mike, for your grammar and your English. It makes sense. And we can get started. Okay, let's go.
Black Panther is the dream of an uncolonized African nation.
Rhino farms! Rhino farms!
See that again.
Black Panther is the dream of an uncolonized African nation.
Black Panther is the dream of an uncolonized African nation.
No, it's a power fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are uncolonized countries in Africa, and they were thriving to a degree. And Dunn can probably attest to this as well. And I'm not talking about South Africa with the Zulus, because that eventually led to a biracial state. But the Zulus fought back really hard with the Brits even saying that, treat the Zulu like cavalry because they're running so fast. They gave the Brits real big trouble. But a more on point version would be Ethiopia. Ethiopia did fight back and did win. They threw out the what was it? Italians?
Mm-hmm.
And same deal, just with spears and tactics.
Now,
not just tribal shaman chants, but actual tactics.
Now we tend to remove the author from the existence of what he creates, or the creator create whatever art he makes. So the actual quote from Stan Lee, who created this back in, was it the 50s or 60s? I can't remember exactly when it was made. But he says, "I wasn't thinking of civil rights. I had a lot of friends who were black, and we had artists who were black. So it occurred to me, why aren't there any black heroes?" So he created a whole comic. They were questioning what kind of title they should give this guy. They later created other characters that were black. So there's really no other impetus aside from Stan Lee wanted to create a black superhero, and he did his best with what he had. And
because Stan Lee is a good person.
Because he just wanted to do it, and that was it. There's no like grand concept of colonialism and this or that. It's like, what if we had a superhero? How would that happen? What would be believable? What would be fun? And I think they were going to go with Cole something, but they ended up they based off one of those friends who were a member of the Black Panthers of those, was it the 60s? Again, I don't know the exact movement, 60s or 70s, but that's when they chose that name. So,
the communists were radical communists and black supremacists. That's why the whole Black Panther hero name is has a bit weird connotation. I don't know which inspired the other. What I wanted to get, I just wanted to wrap up the history thing. Ethiopia was doing relatively well until the 70s, where they had a Marxist revolution. And ever since then, it's a starving shithole. What a surprise. Never got colonized. What ruined Ethiopia was Marxism. Again. And Wakanda could never have been colonized, because it was already a high-tech civilization before we even had our First World War. Wakanda had its space cannons. You couldn't, if you knew where it was, nobody on the fucking planet could have taken it.
And also, like, I honestly don't understand why why one of their rulers didn't go full Shaka Zulu and take over most of Africa.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Bears talked about that. In the comic lore, Wakanda is the whole Wakanda thing is the movie intro has that a tiny bit, but it leaves out all the important bits. The whole Wakandan thing is built because ancient Panther goddess, so some eldritch Marvel beast god, told the Wakandans, build this country and guard the Vibranium. Period. Which means no expansion, because then it's more likely that the stuff falls into the wrong hands. So in the comic, you have some explanation as to why Wakanda is isolationist and does not expand. In the movie, that's completely missing. In the movie, the question has to be raised openly: why the fuck did you not take over the world, or at least Africa, and help your fellow black men?
all right, here.
It's sort of implied, right?
Yeah, that's why Killmonger has a point. No, it's not implied in the movie.
All right, here is Todd Howard. Thank you for the $9.99. So Africa without colonization would still have isolationist tribal societies. I think any nation would have isolationist tribal societies, but that's the beginnings of a colony. So it's just very protectionist, to be very standoffish, to be very security based,
as well as have their king chosen by trial by combat.
That's another weird thing. Hopefully we won't have to talk about, but yeah.
Oh, God.
Also, Smud, muzzle your kraut for me. Sure, I can do that. I just don't know if I have any kraut in me to muzzle. So, delicious krauts. Anyway, here's Mike Testa again. This topic is part of
Racism.
sorry?
I just got the last thing you said, and I forgot to call it racism.
It's an herb. It's a bunch of stuff you put on sauerkraut. Anyway,
Put kraut on your sauerkraut?
you put herbs on sauerkraut. Of course you do. You season your sauerkraut. Anyway, Mike Testa. This topic is part of a long-running punchline. No. With Black Panther, I don't know because I don't know the film. I do know it was a lot of memes to be made when the film came out, so I don't know if they're still going on, but they were pretty ridiculous at the
I
time.
whip my hair back and forth. Just whip your hair back and forth.
What are those?
Yeah, so many bad memes.
I don't know the memes. I'm sorry. Anyway, here's Punished Bearserker, dude. You're in the call, but that's cool. Anyway, I wish some brain cells would colonize the inside of Renegade Cut's head. The guy isn't dumb. He just puts his intelligence in very strange places and stays there forever. It's kind of like, you have the capacity to think and read. You just stay in that one corner of the library, and you just don't go anywhere else. It's kind of sad. So it tends to happen.
Yeah.
Here's Non-Vitae Rex. Oh, hey, how's it going, buddy? It is explicitly stated or shown in the film the Wakanda only helps Black Americans. I haven't seen it in years, but I don't remember that happening. Who here has seen the film, all of it, and has seen that?
I have seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen that. Yeah, that happens at the very end. It's kind of like, and then just like, hey, a bunch of black kids see a Wakandan airship and say, hey, we could probably sell this for parts.
Well, T'Chaka's brother, right? He was trying to help the Black Americans, right?
That
Yeah,
was
I think it was like trying to rob a bank to be some Robin Hood.
that was his
Oh, was he?
philosophy in the start of not the start of the film, but later on in the film, we get to know him, and he's a bit of a rebel. So how that works out, I don't know, but hey, you gotta actually be interested in the story to actually pay attention.
His girlfriend's vagina convinced him to convert to leftism.
Oh, wonderful, fantastic.
Wow, I didn't know vaginas could talk.
Okay, here's the machinist. Hey, thank you. Ultron was going to go to Wakanda in the movie, but the scene never left storyboards. In the comics, I believed he preferred adamantium. Oh, interesting. And if you guys don't know, adamantium is the sister metal to vibranium. It's actually a bit inferior to vibranium, I believe.
Yeah.
Whereas adamantium is just supposedly indestructible. A vibranium can absorb kinetic energy. So who cares about indestructibility when you have a metal that can absorb energy? It's crazy.
Yeah. You could make an argument for Ultron in that getting the adamantium would be simply easier due to less resistance. With Wakanda, you have this space tech civilization to fight over. It's kind of shit when you're just building your evil empire.
I do remember the fight scene. Was it X-Men 2 or 3 where Lady Deathstrike, they just bring a cameo of Lady Deathstrike in, fights Wolverine.
It's X-Men 2.
X-Men 2? And it's like these two indestructible people just like slashing their skin. And you're like, okay, this is not going to go anywhere.
This is...
It would be very bloody.
Black Panther has that
but...
at the end too. I didn't get to the scene yet, but Black Panther has that too, where the two indestructible Black Panther suit guys, CG, fight each other for no reason.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that does happen.
Why are you doing this?
It's horrible too. The CGI, it's like a PS2 cutscene.
Yeah, we should probably keep going with this video. He'll probably bring up some stupid philosophy BS.
Yeah, don't worry. I got a few more super chats. We'll keep going. Here's Tyler Preston for the donation. Stan Lee wanted to create a fun story starring a black superhero. Meanwhile, Galaxy Brains like Renegade Cut wants it to be propaganda, white guilt. Hell, one of the original Black Panther comics was just an Indiana Jones Doc Savage story. It was fun. That's Stan Lee. He's there to make you have a good time And hey, let's have some black people. Let's have some Indian. Let's have a flying Eskimo superhero. Why not? It's cool.
But why would you want to have fun?
I don't know.
Don't you want to be miserable?
Stanley's a great guy.
I just want to see original Mr. Popo.
Yeah.
Don't you want to be ridden by your white guilt?
Oh yes, white guilt, so delicious. Here's Todd Howard again for the $9.99.
That's the real fun.
White guilt's where the real fun starts. Yeah. Oh joy. Ugh. I'm referring to your German sidekick. As an autistic man, I know the struggle of not shutting up, but still muzzle the crowd. Oh, so you were referring to a Wisp.
Of course he was. I did get that. But I am not the kind of German. I am not the kind of German who buys a train ticket to the revolution. I demand equal treatment.
Well, on
the revolution will not be televised.
Yeah, on this podcast, I allow people to say whatever they want until my patience wears out, and I'm a very patient man, so I tend to listen to everyone equally. And the only difference is Wisp has a lot to say, but once I do hear him trailing off, I do tend to get a little annoyed. But that's just personal things. I don't care. Professionally, I want to hear everything he has to say anyway, so it doesn't bother me. But yeah, if we're going on for 10 minutes about diatribes, we will stop for sure. Anyway.
Yeah, but we're not talking about groceries.
No. That's my life. I don't have to talk about
that would be.
I don't want to talk about
infinitely more entertaining.
Well, yes,
even
but
though that would be infinitely more entertaining.
I'm not going to start talking about the price of peanuts with everyone. That's not fun for everyone. So these are my days, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't want to go on to that. Anyway, Spielman, hey, how's it going? Considering a Canadian whiskey, any suggestions? Oh dear God, there's really no recommendations. I could give you a list, but it really depends on your tastes. So rye, or do you want Scottish style whiskey? It's up to you. If so, message me in the Discord. I'll be happy to give you a list. But that's a big topic for me to cover, and I have to know your taste, sir. If you tell me what you like, I'll hook you up. That's how it goes. All right. We're good. Let's continue.
An African nation that was never conquered by Europeans, that never had its people snatched away and enslaved in European nations or America, that never saw its development reversed or stagnated due to the interference of European
Marxists.
nations, America, or other imperialist powers. Black Panther is set primarily in Wakanda, a
Also, he said, had its people snatched away by Europeans. No, the Europeans didn't snatch the black people away from Africa. Black people snatched them away.
Mm-hmm.
And Muslims, when they came to the playing field, snatched them away. And cut off their balls at times so they wouldn't reproduce in their own countries. That's why you see many of these countries today not having a black population, because their slave population could never reproduce. And we have slave markets again in Libya of all places, right at the North African coast. Thanks to Hillary Clinton for that. Yeah, that's her doing. And guys like him wanted to have her as president over Trump. This nation destroyer. Yeah, Gaddafi was an asshole. So what? You need an asshole before you can have your awesome human rights country. Because you can only go there step by step by step. What happened after Gaddafi was gone and with his hard rule was that the tribes in Libya that hated each other went at each other's throats again. And that's how the whole thing plunges into chaos and absolute criminality. And now you can buy a black woman on the slave market of Libya for the equivalent of $17.
Only
Good job,
$17?
Renegade Cut. That's where your vote went. Are you taking risk? You want to take everyone who voted for Trump to take responsibility for anything Trump did? Are you gonna take responsibility for what Clinton did? Or any of the other warhawks? Fucking hell.
All right.
But Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
fictional African nation. Thousands of years prior to the events of the film, Wakanda was struck by a meteorite containing Vibranium, a fictional metal with incredible properties. This allowed Wakanda to be significantly more advanced than neighboring countries. The story follows the conflict between two characters and two worldviews. T'Challa, the recently crowned ruler of Wakanda who wishes to keep the nation secret from the rest of the world and continue the policy of isolationism. And Killmonger, who wishes to use the power of Vibranium and Wakanda's technology to effectively take over the world to benefit people in Africa and people of African descent in other countries. Killmonger wishes to enforce the
Benefit is a very lightly worded thing to say. Was what he wants is black supremacy. He's essentially a black Nazi. He wants the black race to take over the world with
Yeah, he
space
wants
weapons.
to kill people, right?
Yeah, he
He
doesn't.
was down to kill children and children's children.
Yeah.
So he's. I would say neither of these factions here are good guys.
Yeah.
One
I'd
may
agree.
be less
They're
bad
both-
than the other, but I wouldn't say any here are the good guys. Not in the movie.
policy of colonialism that so ravaged the African continent a century ago. Isolationism is the foreign policy of remaining apart from the affairs or interests of other countries. Colonialism is the foreign policy of acquiring full or partial political control over another country, occupying it with settlers, and exploiting it economically.
Hi, Bears. Wanted to say to this in the intro. You have the initial founding tribes of Wakanda, some 4+1. Like one was a bit salty, and then they started expanding the whole thing, and were subduing, you could say, colonizing the surrounding tribes. Wakanda it's in itself a colonizing, isolationist country. It's an ethno-state, if you will. This is no better than any other thing. Just that they didn't build later on outside colonies of their then defined borders. You could say they declared themselves saturated once they had all the land that they wanted, which is everything around the Vibranium impact site.
In the T'Challa defeats Killmonger, but questions his own policy of isolationism, opting instead to reveal the secrets of Wakanda, not to conquer other nations, but to provide humanitarian aid and new technology. Sometimes when nations claim they are only providing humanitarian aid, they are actually hoping to get their foot in the door to enact regime change, but one assumes that T'Challa's intentions are more noble than this and genuinely wants to help the world and begin peaceful relations with other world powers. T'Challa rejects the policy of colonialism, perhaps because it is a policy so intertwined with the exploitation of real-world Africa between 1884 and the early 20th century, a period commonly known among historians as the Scramble for Africa.
Don't scare me like that, colonizer.
Yeah, that line comes so out of the blue. Wakanda couldn't care less about colonization of its continent. It couldn't give a fuck. It didn't help anyone. It could have done so in secret. It didn't. It left its people starving. It's left its neighbors fall to Marxist famine. You have no right to complain about any other people doing anything on the fucking planet, exploiting anyone or leaving anyone in destitution, because Wakanda did that, did all of that. And the leftist logic is that whatever your people did in the past, no matter how many generations ago, you are responsible right now for that. And that allows you what you can say and can't. Wakanda, by that logic, has no right to call Bilbo Baggins a colonizer.
Yeah, and isn't she like a teenager or something? I forget how old she is.
She's the girl genius Q equivalent, who the underground train,
She's
the
kind of
Mac
a
train
Mary Sue
system
as
for the.
well.
Yeah, she's a massive Mary Sue, and she's constantly shitting on T'Challa with who, by the way, this struck me just when I watched the movie myself now. Even in this movie, they cannot help but shit on the male protagonist, on the male hero. All the women make fun of him or denigrate him. Even in the white supremacy movie, black supremacy movie. Even here, they can't help but shit on the male protagonist.
Yeah, they kind of make him a punt. They make him like really like uncomfortable around his girlfriend, and his sister films him as he like gets like thrown across her lab by his
for an experiment.
Kinetic energy of
She knew what would happen.
Yeah.
She knew what would happen. She set him up. It was a prank, and it's just, why are you doing this? Why are you making fun of your hero and of your role model, of your king? That is so strange. You have no respect. These people have no respect for each other.
All right.
Well, it feels very American.
Yeah.
Like American humor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Slapstick?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I'm just surprised that the U.S. black audience loved the movie so much, although it shed on the character.
That's because they just like black people, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all. I guess that's all they see.
Oh, boy.
And that's why they.
Believe me,
I've had my coworkers literally tell me, "Oh, it was so black. I love it."
Yeah,
Okay.
it's full of it. This is if the term anti-racist would actually mean what they claim it means, they would need to hate this movie because it is so full of just stereotypical nonsense that people outside of Africa have about Africans, that especially Americans have about Africans. I mean,
Yeah,
even
like
the
guy who
language
has
they made up.
a giant.
So I haven't looked it up, but I have a hard time believing that they didn't make up some fake language for the Wakandans. And the version I have, there are no hard subs. I don't know if there were any hard subs in the cinema, but they speak Wakandan from time to time, and I don't know what they're saying because there are no hard subs on the movie, and it sounds like a mix of several African languages because some words suddenly have click sounds, and there are some click languages in Africa, but I'm not familiar with other African languages having random click sounds just thrown around in other words. So my guess would be that this is also just I can be wrong on this. I can be completely wrong on this. But the vibe I get is that since everything is just an amalgamation of black stereotypes, that language is also just made up out of a bunch of stuff from other languages to sound like this sounds African. Let's make a click sound here.
All right.
Which is funny because Ryan Coogler is African American, and he actually did Creed, which apparently is pretty good by comparison to this. Never seen it, but I've heard good things.
Okay, here's Mike Testa. But guys, don't you? Oh boy. Okay, but guys, don't you want Super Cripple? She's crippled and a woman of color. So brave, am I right? Don't forget her bumbling sidekick Bin, Binn. So cool, eh? What are we Mike? What are we talking about here? Who's the
I think that might be Ironheart.
Is there?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Ironheart's a character in this movie?
No.
She will be.
Oh,
I mean, in the MCU.
They're making a sequel, or this is a new story entirely?
There are. I've heard they are trying to make a Phase 4 or 5 movie about Ironheart.
Yeah, they're making that TV
Instead
show,
of
Disney
War
Plus show.
Machine, because fuck him, I guess.
No, they're doing War Machine too, right? Hey,
Yeah,
Bears.
they remembered War Machine as a thing.
I don't think they did, no.
I mean, you had them in Iron Man. In what was it, Iron Man 2? Iron Man. What was it already in Iron Man 1?
Oh, and Iron Man 1s.
It was already in Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a different guy, that's why.
Well, man, you had War Machine already in the very first MCU movie,
Yeah.
and people were fine with him. And then they have to prop up this Falcon as the first black Captain America. People wouldn't accept a black superhero. Blah blah blah.
No,
Fuck, man.
fucking
And,
God.
and the great thing is, Anthony Mackie said, "Nah, I've had a fusion of support for taking up the role of Captain America. I haven't had any racist comments directed at me."
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that man.
Yeah,
He's so
when he was War Machine and Iron Man 2, he was basically the face of the military. Nobody complained. I don't, but you know, I don't know. It's getting off topic, of course.
Also,
So-
Iron Patriot is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these guys. Anyway, she here. She's a good depiction of. If you would make her a little bit more psychopathic, she would be Riri Williams.
Which is fucking annoying for me because Shorty in the comics is trained exactly like the Black Panther, or like T'Challa was, because she's the second in line for the throne. If anything happened to T'Challa, she becomes the Black Panther. And she did. She was the Black Panther for a while.
Huh.
Like, so she's not like near. I don't know what they took away. All of her training in this fucking movie. Like, the only action she ever did was to put on some fucking, like, laser gauntlets and get the shit beaten out of her. Great representation of Shuri. I love it. Thank you, movie. Fucking kill yourself.
Even in Infinity War too, right?
Yes.
Don't have it kill itself. That's too fast. Have it be anally sodomized by a cactus. That sounds better.
Thanks,
Delicious.
Doug. That's great. Thank you so much for that imagery.
What I think goes over the top here is that's why I brought up the Mag Train Vibranium transport system that Bilbo is going to look at as he walks through the room outside the window.
Oh, Wisp. Do you want me to spoil the end fight between Killmonger and Black Panther for you?
The CGI fight until someone gets bored.
Uh-huh. Like, that whole train system, you know how the Black Panther's new and improved, quote-quote, suit is made out of Vibranium nanomachines, son?
Oh, so does the just the sonic absorption, force absorption thing, and then boosts the other one to smithereens or something?
Yeah, and like at certain points, when the train system activates, it fucking knocks out the nanobots for a while, and there's like patches of both the Black Panther and Killmonger's suit are just exposed. But here's the thing, though.
Okay. So the thing is the Chekhov's gun thing.
In Civil War, T'Challa's suit is the one he made for himself, is made out of solid vibranium. So if he had worn his suit throughout this movie, he would have won that fight with no problem.
Huh.
Yeah.
Thank you, movie. Kill yourself, please.
All
the
right.
reason I brought this up is, so she says she designed this train system. She is what, at this point, 16, 18?
Yes.
Either way, how long do you need to build that? Because that's a giant system. That's an absolute technology beast. When did she design that? Was she 12? Was she 8?
She came out of her mother's cunt with the blueprints.
Yep. Yeah, probably.
And then she went back in before she could give birth, right?
All right, let's keep going. Here's Joe Crazy. Fun fact, Black Panther was changed to Black Leopard for a short time in 1971 so they can separate themselves from the political party. Huh, interesting.
Interesting.
Even though they were based off the Black Panthers. Huh.
Also sounds gay.
Yeah, it does.
Which is why they changed it back to Black Panther real fucking quick.
Thing with the... No, I forgot it. It slipped me.
That's okay. You'll get back to it. Here's Francis Ford Coppola. Thank you, sir.
Kind of forgot.
I don't know why T'Challa would give a shit about colonization when his whole culture didn't care about it for centuries, and he seemed to need cooch and an actual psychopath as a motivation to care about black people in the U.S. Oh, really?
Like the whole thing with fucking Shuri calling Bilbo a colonizer. I'm like, you are the blood descendant of the first Black Panther who colonized the 4 other tribes. Shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know Bilbo's
You're
family
a
line?
hypocrite.
You don't know Bilbo's family line? My white family has only been in this country for fucking 3 generations. Like, the same thing could be with Bilbo's family.
I know even Black Panther has more respect for Bilbo Baggins than Shuri.
Yeah, that's because T'Challa is a good person, unlike his bratty sister.
All right. Here's a donation, and it's from Tyler Preston giving me a quote from Jack Saint. Oh, joy. You hate on Shuri, a black teenage girl, for being a genius, but you don't hate on Peter Parker, a white teenage boy who is also a genius. I ain't calling you a racist, but... oh, jeez.
No. Those are completely
No.
different levels of genius. Peter Parker is still a grounded version of a genius. This girl here, she, as Ken Kaneki
insane.
points out in the chat, she had 9 months to design the train system in the womb. Which probably fits how long you then need to take to build that.
Also, question: were they just like mining the vibranium with pickaxes and then carrying out with their hands for the past like thousands of years?
Yes.
That's why it took so long.
What would happen
Weird.
if you
Yeah,
had
we'll probably-
if you had a vibranium pickaxe? Would it like stop the kinetic motion of itself? Like what?
Yeah, how do you mine vibranium?
It absorbs kinetic energy. That's what.
How do you mine vibranium?
You'd have to melt it down and then form it into ingots, and then transport it, melt it again, remove impurities, and then form it into what you
Just
want.
melt it from the dig site.
Fun times.
But how do you make the dig site if you can't mine it?
Don't worry.
You dig around it. I don't.
These
fucking
are questions best left.
I'm getting problems here.
Best left for Stan Lee's mind. We'll just leave that alone. Here's Mike Testa. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Hey, you think we'll encounter Amber in Wakanda? Now,
Oh God, no, God, her and Shuri would be best fucking friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
originally, I thought that was a Jurassic Park joke, but then I went, oh, wait, you mean something else? Because Amber was lowercase, so I was like, wait, Amber...
Amber and Invincible,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, God, fucking...
Yeah,
Like, T'Challa, why didn't you save me? Oh, I don't know, Killmonger threw me off a fucking mountain.
Why exactly is Hollywood, like, trying to make people hate Zazie Beetz and everything except for Joker and Deadpool?
Yeah, and according to the Young Turks, that was the racist depiction of Zazie Beetz.
Oh.
Like, Joker has a problem with... Joker... Yeah, the first line of the fucking TYT review of the Joker is, Joker has a problem with black women. Like, die, soy boy. Shut up.
What? What the fuck?
Yeah. Unironically, we have visual confirmation on EFAP. That happened. They started busting up laughing. The movie Bob, a video after the TYT review, was like a welcome reprieve.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And TYT are race hustlers anyway. Turks do not like black people.
Yeah, no.
If we talk in generalized terms, Turks don't like black people. Simple as that.
They also don't like they also don't like Armenians, but Anna Kasparian's still part of the group, so whatever.
Well, she gets a paycheck.
Oh, at least she's like
and that's the topic you can't bring up with her. She keeps on arguing with Jake if the topic comes up. That's why it never comes up anymore.
I was like, yo, if there was a channel called the Young Nazis, I probably wouldn't be there. Just
Yeah.
Oh dear. Let's not talk about
make a fucking YouTube channel called the Hitler Youth and then claim to be progressive. Okay, cool.
Okay, let's not go there. Anyway, less genocide, more Fran Mataraki. Thanks for the donation. Pretty sure the same people who liked Black Panther are the same ones who gave Resident Evil 5 shit for having super chuckers. Spear chuckers. I can't read.
Spear
It's so
chuckers.
small. Spear chuckers.
What?
Never mind.
Spear
Black
chuckers?
Panther had them making Negro monkey sounds.
Oh, God, the soundtrack.
Oh my god! I about cringed out of my skin when that fucking happened. They took M'Baku the man ape. They took M'Baku the man ape, who was a major supervillain who got his superpowers by killing the avatar of a white gorilla god, was a 3-ton albino gorilla. He killed that thing with his bare hands, ate its flesh, bathed in its blood, and now he's a supervillain. Right? They took that character and turned him into a vegan soy boy that makes monkey noises at white people. But I'm supposed to like this movie because of my melanin. Fuck off!
Yes, it's great. I hate the soundtrack. I honestly hate the soundtrack. It sounds silly.
All right.
It sounds like, oh, let's make something that sounds African.
But
But
Yeah,
Rap
put
died,
some
Rap
rap.
died with Biggie and Pac.
is it
Rap
worse?
died with Biggie
It
and
never
Pac.
fits the atmosphere. Never.
Is it-
It never gives you this feeling of impact, of atmosphere, of tension. It never does it. It's just silly drums.
So you're saying it's worse than, let's say, the music whenever Wonder Woman appears in Zack Snyder's cut of Justice
No,
League.
the Wonder
Not
Woman's
that bad.
Wonder Woman's theme is actually pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
And it makes
yodeling,
sense for the most part.
Specifically the yodeling. Specifically the
yeah.
yodeling.
Why did they put rap for Black Panther?
Wonder
I don't
Woman's theme is
understand.
just Wonder Woman's theme is just overused, but it's a good theme.
Okay.
The
Yodeling.
African background music in Black Panther is just bad. It's badly composed, and I'm not saying that African tribal music is bad. There's very cool stuff out there, very cool shit. The stuff
Yeah.
in Black Panther,
Why couldn't they use
that's
that?
not cool shit. That's just shit.
All
But
right.
why couldn't
they-
they use that?
They rather
Why couldn't they use that? Oh, I don't know. Why don't they use the black superheroes that exist in these franchises instead of just whitewashing white people? Because they don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like, they don't think to do any of that shit. They just do like, whatever. This is the like bottom of the barrel, whatever bullshit that'll appease the Negroes. Fine, they'll like it. They don't have taste. Fuck it. Just give it to them. They don't ask questions.
Here's
Yeah.
here's
I would have loved the M'Baku story. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, M'Baku's bad. Oh, Wisp, after the show, I will show you.
Then you have
Avengers,
to
Earth
fucking.
I will show you.
What you gotta
I'll show
think
you
about
Avengers,
the kids.
Avengers,
you have-
Earth's Might.
Sorry, yeah,
It's a
go
TV
on.
show. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The episodes with Black Panther are amazing. Black Panther and that.
Yeah, they are great.
Beautiful.
Okay.
all right.
Oh, he's in that show?
Because I think African
Damn,
African
I didn't get that
superhero
far.
as avatars of their, or rather chosens of the avatars of their respective gods, of the gorilla god and the panther god. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That they do this pseudo-political, hustling, superficial bullshit that eats itself.
Here's Mike Testa. Thanks again, Mike. 'Twas a joke response to "We want good black heroes." Okay, thank you, Michael.
And we have good black heroes, but they don't use them because they don't care about like building these characters up and making them popular through good writing or anything.
I'd love to see a modern, good, really good Spawn movie.
Oh yeah, get Michael Jai White
that'd be
again.
great.
I think the
Get Michael
cartoon
Jai
Really,
White
and
again.
really R-rated.
I think the animated cartoon was pretty R-rated. It was pretty decent.
Oh yeah, with Keith David as the voice of Spawn.
Oh
Ooh.
God, yeah.
Oh man, Keith David. Oh,
He's a
I love
Chad,
Keith
yo.
David.
Anything
Chef
Keith David
with
has
Keith
the best
David
voice
is already
ever.
just amped. Like he makes everything better. Keith David, I think. Like, can you imagine?
Yes,
Can you imagine
totally.
a Worf series with Keith David? Like, just put Worf as the main character and just have Keith David in the background. I don't care. He's an old admiral or whatever. Make him a Klingon. I don't care. Just have him in there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
was
Amazing show.
surprised. I was surprised when I rewatched. Yeah, I was surprised when I rewatched Agent Cody Banks that like Keith David is the CIA director.
What?
This movie just
No
got
way.
better. Yeah, Keith David.
Oh my God.
Keith David is the CIA director in Agent Cody Banks.
Just give me Michael Dorn doing anything with Keith David doing something. And I'm okay.
Oh, Smudge, speaking of, Michael Dorn is the voice of Battle Beast in Invincible. and that character in the comics is going to have a major part to play. So we're going to be getting Michael Dorn back
Oh,
in the show at some
Nice.
point.
that's nice.
I'm excited
Nice.
for it.
Yeah.
You get a cool role. Nice. I'm all for it. And general question, because it just popped in my head, is the Max right? Because I don't remember. It's very short time when he's revealed. Somewhere near
What?
the end. The Max. You've not
Like
seen the
the
Max?
I mean, I've read some of the comics. I haven't actually seen the show though.
Okay. The show was very good. I really liked it. They
Okay.
they incorporated the comic book style very well.
We should probably keep going. We're an hour and we were only 2 minutes.
I gotta-
Yeah, we're having
video.
we're having too much fun
I
talking
gotta-
about anything that is. So we gotta keep
I got to get through these super chats, so my apologies. We slow
Okay.
down. Where the hell are we? Okay, sorry. Tyler Preston. I just discovered that T'Challa in the comics has an adopted white brother named Hunter. He even has his own superhero persona named the White Wolf. He was created by Christopher Priest, a black
Nice.
comic book writer. Cool, very cool. Always cool to
That's-
hear about.
Oh man,
And it's a
like,
good
black
dichotomy.
black comic book writers that are not Tallahassee boats. I love them. They're great.
That.
They need more work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the name drop of Ta-Nehisi Coates and Margaret Atwood was kind of like
Oh god.
really invincible.
God, I cannot. I was surprised when I looked up Ta-Nehisi Coates the first time. He looks like Biznu, but with a buzz cut.
Oh, and the Margaret Atwood thing is they try to put the whole Handmaid's Tale onto the patriarchy. The Handmaid's Tale was written as a critique of Islamic culture. That's the patriarchy it is
Uh-oh.
criticizing.
You know, Margaret Atwood,
Uh-oh.
as much flack as she gets for her stories, some of her stories are very good. It's her writing style, which is excellent. It's not necessarily her topics. The problem is she doesn't finish her stories. She never ends a book. It's just open-ended. You're just like, honey, we're done here. Can you please, give me a denouement or something? Like anything? No, not just stops writing and just sends it to the publisher.
Could you wrap it up? I'm bored.
Like she just fucking plays out her books like Bob Dylan does his songs. They just keep going,
They
and
just keep
somebody at
going.
some point decides to stop the recording.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so she's good at writing, except she's lacking a one relevant skill of writing.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
the most important part is to finish your book. And usually writers who know this, they write the ending first because they want to know where they're going. She just goes.
Mhm.
She just runs. So good
The
writer.
soap opera.
Just
That sounds like soap opera writing.
it's like a relationship. You're like, everything's great, everything's fantastic, and all of a sudden she disappears, and you're just like, what the hell? What was that about?
I'm just gonna go buy some cigarettes.
Yeah, essentially.
Just Margaret Atwood thumbing a ride like the end of the Hulk TV show.
I would be surprised if they
yeah,
close
and-
it like that.
And in regards to video progression, I've noticed that usually we take quite a long time for setup because there's so much to say, and then we get faster and faster.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going. We're going. Here's Francis Bordacopla. Thanks again. I've seen this video. Renegade doesn't actually show how Africa would be the wake dad, if not for colonization, just how bad Africans were treated by Europe. Also, why couldn't Bucky have helped out in the fight? Huh.
Oh, I think his phone
true.
autocorrected Wakanda to Wake Dad.
I was a bit confused. I was like,
Wasn't-
woke dad, maybe? No, it doesn't make sense.
Fucking other videos I sleep. Fucking Renegade Cut watch woke shit.
Oh, and I doubt that Renegade Cut will bring up Liberia, and he also won't bring up that African immigrants to whatever other nation, and including immigrating to the US, are usually quite successful, because they weren't brought up with this belief that is taught in these poor black communities that the Democrats are holding down with their policies to keep them dumb and dependent. They weren't brought up in that, so they are successful when they get to the US and build lives.
Africans hate hate American blacks. Like,
Yes,
for real, I've talked to
they
to
do.
a couple of them. They complain about all the shit that, you know, white people get called racist for saying about black people. Africans say it about American blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I can
that's
totally believe that.
amazing. That is
We have,
hilarious.
by the way, the exact same thing exists for Turkish Turks from Turkey, Turks from Turkey, about Turks in Germany. Exact same mechanics, exact same disdain and disgust. And the most support for Erdogan comes from German Turks.
All right.
That's why Erdogan was holding election rallies in Germany to German Turks, which was that you even allow this. That's another topic. But
Okay.
Yeah, same dynamic.
We're still going strong with the super chats. Sorry about slowing down the video, but we got to keep going. Here's Everjance. Thank you. Wonder Woman's theme is a knockoff of Xena's theme from back in the day. You know what? I never thought of that, and I do actually like Xena.
I have vague memories. That could be true.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. They're both of the same tribe, I guess, but you know. And that girl can sing.
I never really paid attention to the song.
No, I don't know the
The song
lyrics.
was
No, obviously not.
Is Kevin Sorbo as part of the MCU confirmed?
Oh my god.
Oh shit! Kevin Sorbo Hercules, fucking,
He'll never do it.
The people around him get dust, and Hercules just looks up disappointed.
No, we just need to enfold the God's Not Dead movies into the MCU.
Just bring in.
Oh no!
Bring in, Keith David. Bring in Lucy Lawless and Kevin Sorbo for the hell of it. Why not? That'd be great. They'll do anything. I don't care what they do. They'll be fantastic. Anyway,
I'll take that over Riri Williams.
Ah, God, yeah. Here's Francis Ford Coppola. Last one. Alrighty. Sorry, I meant to write Wakanda. Thank you. Autocorrect. Couple things. If they were gonna race swap Amber, why make her the angry black woman stereotype? Also, apparently, TYT thinks a black woman being a loving single mother who's nice to a weird guy is racist. Wow.
Okay, so to answer Francis's question, I think the palette swap was an editorial mandate that the animators had to do. So the workaround for that was to make Amber so fucking unlikable that everyone would want to get her off the show as soon as possible.
That
I
would
can
be
accept the
hilarious
headcanon.
if they decided to do that. That would be hilarious if that would. I don't think so. Honestly,
I don't
there's
either,
only,
but that's just what I'm going with. That's my personal belief.
I can give you a parallel to that, which is if you watch the Clone Wars, the animated show.
The good one or the
in the
3D
first
one?
The 3D one.
Okay.
In the first season, when CGI wasn't that good yet, and everything, that even more writing tisms as they had later on, and the episodes weren't even chronological, there were a couple Jar Jar Binks episodes, and there was something noticeable about all of them. And I pick up on the visual stuff more than about faces, as you may have noticed at this point. All the Jar Jar Binks episodes, especially one in particular, that is on the Rhodian planet. The animation quality goes downhill. The textures are worse. The lighting is worse. There aren't even shadows. It's like, yeah, we have the Jar Jar Binks episode. We do not want to work on this. We do not even put rendering time into it. Let's just get this over. I don't want to do this. And it's not just because of filler. There are a lot of filler episodes in the Clone Wars, but the Jar Jar Binks episodes stand out as being of lower quality in every regard. And there's even a point where Jar Jar is being eaten by a giant sea monster.
Yeah.
And Padme is there in the scene, and instead of being shocked that he's dead, she's just, okay, and goes off screen like, oh, Jar Jar is dead. Well, that's out of this is kind of the relieved grief, if you will. Like, yeah, okay, he was not a bad guy, but hey, he's gone. That's good. He's no more annoying.
And there was
then,
much rejoicing. Hooray!
yeah. It's kind of this guilty joy of Jar Jar's being eaten by a big thing. Good. I'm not gonna bother with rescuing him. Good riddance. This episode was just showing the team didn't want to work on Jar Jar. Nobody likes Jar Jar, and that's why your headcanon for the Amber thing might even make sense. Maybe there's something to it.
Okay. We can get back to the video, guys.
Even before ascension to power in 1865, Leopold II of Belgium had a desire for his country to expand and carve
Dude,
out
fix
a
your
piece of the
screen.
world. He believed that colonies gave modern nations their prosperity, citing examples
Do you have a seizure license for that?
exploitative Dutch colony of Java.
Like, bro, he
Colonialism
got
is
you
like
seizure
any business
license.
practice for political leaders. There's an investment and an eventual payoff in the future. The loss of life is never factored into the ledger. His father, Leopold I, tried to discourage this to no avail. Years prior, the father's failed investment, St. Thomas de Guatemala, proved embarrassing for him and fatal for those involved. Yet when Leopold II proposed a Belgian colony, he claimed it must be done in his father's honor. Leopold wanted a colony somewhere, anywhere, and eventually fixed his gaze to Africa. At the time, save for investments like the Suez Canal, a few
I like the
colonies,
bisexual
European
lighting.
nations had little hold or even interest in the continent. Thomas Pakenham, author of The Scramble for Africa, wrote of this, "No continent was less inviting for European explorers. It was nearly 400 years since the smooth, round profile of Africa had first decorated the charts of the Portuguese navigators. For most of that time, the interior, with notable exceptions to north and south, had remained as mysterious as the surface of the moon. In a way, the moon's surface was less mysterious. Europeans could chart its mountains in safety with their telescopes. South of the Mediterranean, the coast of Africa became increasingly hostile. Harbors were rare. Even a sheltered anchorage was often hard to find beyond the curtain of mangrove swamps and the surf crashing down on the coral reefs. It was true that from the time of the Greeks there had been tales of great rivers that led to the interior. The Nile apart, the great rivers seemed a mirage. Up to that point, imperialism among European nations
Man,
and
this is a really
subsequent
great Black Panther
colonialism
video
of
we're
its
watching.
conquests stretched
Yeah.
out across the globe to everywhere but the majority of Africa. The
On just a note, lots of this in the olden centuries was done for prestige, as he's noting himself, which is similar to the last attempts of Ottoman conquest into Europe. That was done for prestige and nostalgia more than for actual taking lands. And that's why even having a colony in a useless place in regards to resources or whatever, it was done for that reason. Had Africa been developed and Europe been underdeveloped, you can be pretty sure that that African kingdoms would have tried to colonize Europe for its lush resources.
Colonism is awesome.
Yeah, he's acting as and all these leftist guys and girls are acting as if this is something that only Europeans ever came up
yeah,
with.
they think only white people are colonists. It's like, no, colonism refers to a very specific activity taken part by different factions and geographies of people. And without colonism, we would still have people engaging in the Atlantic slave trade. So I kind of like colonism, to be honest.
We also would still be sitting in some trees in Africa probably, and
Yeah.
Depending on where you go in history, you can make the argument that
It's only
I'm not filming this
colonism
anymore.
if they like it.
Yeah. Oh well,
Or
if they don't like
rather.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the current the dominant Japanese population is essentially a colony of China that went rogue. That's why you have native people that are whose religion and culture resembles the Celtic a damn lot, who are essentially oppressed. Still, they're discriminated against in Japan. I love Japan. That's a thing I still take issue with myself. Yeah, but is that now? Is that now good or bad? So are the because it's a and what's not a colony? What on earth is not a colony of something? The question is how far are you going back in history? This is just something we have better documented. Like when the Norse people expanded over all these freezing fucking islands and all the way over to the United States, to North Africa. Some allegedly even made it to America, to North America. Some even made it to South America. Didn't stay there because it was already pretty hostile. But there were attempts at Norse colonies in North America. So is that a good or is that now an okay colony or a bad colony just because the native North Americans who were not native to North America because they came across the Pacific?
How white were they?
What the fuck is it? What?
Yeah, how white were they?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
That's the only
That's
question.
how we determine if it's good or bad or not.
Dude, if so, I'm right now because I don't get outside much. My skin has the color that goth girls are jealous of. If I stay out in the sun, for a while,
I have a scientific question for all of you.
Yes.
So if like these pale as fuck people conquer a place, that's like 100% colonialism, right? But what if along the way they get a tan? Is it now 70% colonialism?
Yeah, because
what if they were black?
The people on screen right now.
Colonialism?
Well, what kind of tan are we talking about? We're talking about a Cuban tan or a black tan?
I have a question. What if space aliens with black skin and like giant bell pepper looking noses come down and conquer us? Is that colonialism?
No.
Depends on how prominent that type of nose is on their planet.
Oh god. Yeah, but so compared to how I look right now, the guys on the screen are black. Seriously. And if I stay out in the sun for a while, I get as dark as a Greek or even a Tunisian. That's my skin just adapts. So if I had been brought up in one of these countries with a baking sun all the time, I don't know what you'd call me, because these people just go by superficial traits. That's how they categorize you.
Well, I'd call you my friend.
That's
Possibly
great.
the gayest thing you've ever heard me say. Yeah.
No, but that's the cool. That's how things are good. That's how you do things good.
Okay.
Not with the shit here all the time.
Here is Mike Test again. Thank you, Michael. The first Tales from the Hood is a good. Wait, sorry. The first Tales from the Hood is a good, while the others constantly forget what made the first so great. It's pathetic, really. Also, wear black Catman.
I agree. I agree with that last statement there, Mike.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Black Panther for about 10 minutes because, I don't know. Renegade Cut.
So Renegade Cut hasn't called Black Catman.
Where's he going with this?
Colonization.
We're talking about the greatness of colonization. That's why we're getting distracted.
Quick side note. In one of the stories I'm writing, I named a character after Lethal pulled the second. This character is from upstate New York. He's a white dude. He gets superpowers and takes over the entire African continent.
That sounds fair. Sounds good. About right.
Okay.
All right. Let's. We're only 4 minutes and a half in, so we can.
Progress.
Yeah.
The notable exceptions Peckenham referenced were the Anglo-Zulu War that gave Britain control of Cape Colony, or modern-day South Africa, in 1879, a smattering of French and Portuguese conquests and colonies, and little else. African territories and empires were largely still controlled by their indigenous people. Save for massive gold mining operations in West Africa and the slave trade, Europe thought little of the benefits of the continent. Leopold.
The black people were enslaving each other. The Muslim countries were enslaving the Africans. The Portuguese only capitalized on that slave market that was already there and thriving for centuries, if not millennia. That was already going. It wasn't invented by Europeans. It wasn't brought there by Europeans. Just a few scumfucks saw, oh, you can buy cheap labor here. That has no rights. Cool. Awesome.
Here's Francis Bordcopla for the donation. How tanned does one have to get before they get the N-word pass? Also, why is Renegade Cut giving history lessons? It's irrelevant, and his Red Dawn video already shows his profound ignorance of history and geopolitical current events. I'm not surprised. He tends to focus on books he's read, specifically for this video or a video, and you don't know the relevance. It's a strange aside that we have to wrap our brains around. And then
we see that here too. It's completely one-sided. It's a one-sided view of history that is only in favor of his viewpoints.
There's so many stories or historical examples of people invading other lands for multiple reasons. And sure, this is an example of one. That's true. There are lots of stories of this.
And as I said, he will not bring up Ethiopia resisting colonization and being fucked up by Marxists instead, which is essentially the enemy from within, because it's a mind virus. So that's how that colonization took place, if you will.
Right.
Because that's Marxism is a pretty European idea. I hate to say it. And the argument many people bring up is, well, yeah, there's a lot of awesome resources in Africa, but the natives never managed to exploit those resources. Had they figured that out, things would look different, but they never got to the technological level. Like the Zulu just managed to build an empire. A very bloody one, I might add. They were colonizers. Holy shit. They were subduing every other tribe around them, and if they didn't submit, they would genocide them. That's how the Zulu Empire was built. So don't give me this crap that then some other force comes along that they then clash with. Doesn't matter that it's from a completely different continent from the other side of the planet. The Zulu Empire was not a cool thing. That was Dude, that wasn't much better than any of the other shit things in history.
All right, well...
However, those shit things are usually the foundations for the better things that come later. That I can give you.
Well, congratulations to everyone. We have made the quarter-way mark of a Renegade Cut video. That's usually a sign that we're not crazy. We haven't lost our minds yet, and we can bail out at any time. So... Thank you for sticking so long. It's only been an hour and almost 20 minutes, so we're doing okay.
Yeah, half time, and we made a quarter of the video. It's kind of good.
Not bad. Okay.
Well, the nice thing is he's just giving us a dumb history lesson. He's not said anything that's like
I know.
Insane.
Exactly. Past 2 minutes, it's just been like, yeah, sure, okay.
And as I said, it's just a leftist view of history.
The last
it omits all the important things.
Yeah.
Look at this absolute waffle chat in that beard. I love it.
Yeah, fantastic beard.
What? Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Leopold II, who fancied himself an innovator, concluded he would change that. Leopold became the founder and sole owner of the Congo Free State in 1885, a private project undertaken on his own behalf that eventually claimed all of Congo. Europe applauded
Wispy did
his
this on
efforts
purpose.
under the
Oh,
assumption
God.
that Leopold
Okay. This is the stuff that is not immediately, but over time giving me a migraine. Renegade Cut, did you put up a seizure warning, a trigger warning in front of your video, you leftist cuck?
No, he wants there to be like It's cool because VHS, because you remember VHS, right?
VHS-tisms didn't look like that.
What's
Also,
VHS?
this image is very based.
Yeah, but honestly, this is what I mean. These people, he's going off about, oh, the racism is so bad. He did put a trigger warning up about, this video discusses atrocities committed in Africa. Yeah, but you didn't put up one about fucking seizure warnings and photosensitivity, you fucking asshole.
Well, how else is he supposed to brainwash you?
This is physical assault, you ass fuck. Fucking hell. That's why I hate these sanctimonious bastards. oh, it gives you a trigger warning, but not about the actual thing that can actually hurt you.
All right.
Because I actually don't care, don't understand anything in the fucking world.
All right, Wisp, just close your eyes. It's okay. I'll just
It's
get
okay,
by. It's
yeah.
all right. Here's Jake the
Close
Surgeon.
your eyes, close your ears, you know.
No. Africa was already filled with warring tribes before any European stepped foot on the continent. Not much has really changed, has it?
Wait a minute. Groups of human beings have been fighting other groups of human beings? What? No, really?
I thought it was all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, until Yakub invented white people, that's how it was.
Yeah. Oh. Wow.
And we're just
But
all
you- but, I mean, you-
freely sharing their resources in true communist fashion until the white people brought capitalism.
But like Yakub created redheads, so like it's a fair trade in my opinion.
Very, very.
I see you're a man of culture as well.
All right, let's
Yeah.
go.
Dunn, you got any more redheads?
What?
I got Angie Everhart, if you want.
Yes.
There's also Jamie Faith Edmondson.
Yes, I
There's-
won't.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Send me the
What do you?
nudes.
You guys are obviously
Give me that.
sending images outside of chat, which I appreciate. So that's always nice.
Okay, so we need to start spamming the chat with naked redheads real quick.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good. Anyway, here's Jake the Surgeon again.
Everyone else needs to be based.
If Wakanda really existed, all of Africa would have been conquered and subjugated. Same if it existed in any other country. It's kind of
The
strange
entire
when
world
you,
would have been
when you
conquered
have
by the Wakandans.
when you have superior technology and you isolate yourself for, was it hundreds of years or thousands? I don't know how long it was, but something's up. What's going on with the community that they don't say, hey, we could go help people over there. We can go uplift them and make them part of our community, and we could all prosper together or whatever. Like, there's so many reasons to do these things if you have the capability of growing. And it's like, no, we're going to not do that. We're going to make spaceships, and we're not going to fly into space. We're just going to stay in the ground. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah, in this one place on the whole planet for thousands of years. It's really hard to believe that this whole nation would have never had a king with the notion of Killmonger. That would have gone, no, let's set up a colony somewhere else just in case.
That's why the Panther god putting the restriction on them was a good idea.
Yeah, but
You
it's
have
not
a
mentioned
literal
in the
god
movie.
telling you not to do that.
Yeah,
That's why
but
you
it's-
didn't do it.
It's
Yeah.
not believable.
Yeah, but it's not mentioned in the movie, and I can
Exactly.
only go by that.
Like, that's why I hate this fucking movie.
Here's Mike Testa one more
Yeah.
time. Did somebody
Those are
say
dumb.
naked redhead? No,
Yes.
Mike. We're not
Yes.
changing the
Yeah.
topic.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mike Lester, we did.
I'm sure it's a
Yes,
truth, but we're not changing the
multiple
topic.
times.
We're fine. Thank you very much. We're good.
What if Renegade can change the topic to Leopold II? We can change it to redheads.
That is
Come on, man.
that is tangentially related to what he's talking about on the same topic. Where he's
Well,
going, I don't know.
Listen, redheads. Every human being came from Africa, right? So
What?
us fapping over naked redheads is tangentially related to Africa. Okay.
However, Black Panther did not blackwash any redheads.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, that's fantastic.
It's like the one good point of the movie. Like, that's gonna be my IMDb review. 1 out of 10. At least they didn't whitewash a redhead or blackwash. Excuse me.
All right, let's continue.
Would improve the lives of the Congolese. Leopold ignored the conditions of the Congolese instead, seeing the Congo Free State as concerning him alone. Millions of the natives were killed or mutilated, including children. Loss in the Congo Free State is estimated at 60% of the population. Part of this was due to Leopold's barbaric labor laws. Any Congolese who failed to meet rubber quotas, for example, were executed. Leopold made a fortune in ivory and other resources. Britain's role in colonizing Africa was even greater. Originally content with administering Egypt and control of South Africa, Britain stretched across the Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, as well as a smattering of colonies in the west. By the early 20th century, the British Empire controlled the lion's share of Africa and exploited both its people and its resources. In 1883, Germany established a colony codified by a fraudulent purchase. The indigenous people revolted. As the years went on, Germany massacred the Herero and Namakwa people, inciting the first genocide of the 20th century. Those who survived were put into concentration camps where they were used for human experimentation. About 80% of the Herero population and about 50% of the total Namakwa population either starved, died of thirst, or were worked to death in the concentration camps between 1904 and 1908. There are so many more atrocities, but this is getting extremely grim, so I will try to sum up here. Historians who
now
cite
you
the
want to
scramble
sum up,
for Africa
okay.
as being partially about maintaining the balance of power sometimes leave out that power was not an abstract concept for these nations but the product of wealth. The colony's resources provided this wealth and were themselves useful as bargaining chips in international negotiations. The native populations of colonies could be turned into a military force as a means in which to conquer more territories, achieve more wealth, which could then be used to create an even larger military to conquer even more territories, achieve even more wealth, ad nauseum. Britain and France, as examples, used the North African population in their own territorial disputes between them. In other words, European powers conquered the people of Africa to force them into military service to fight one another to gain more African territory for the Europeans.
That's not uncommon anywhere in the world, anywhere in history. Completely normal thing. A horrible, absolutely horrible thing, but completely normal in human history. You have the same between the Swedes and the Russians using the Finns. Back and forth, by the way. Several times. One party enslaves the Finns and uses them as cannon fodder against the other, and then it goes the other way around. And that happened a few times. So, what do you call that? And by the way, nowadays they're telling the Finns the same bullshit that they tell everyone else. That they're white people who, which by the way they're largely have genetically they're largely Asian. But they're being told by blue-haired land whales and Africans they put on national television in Finland that you're white people who profited from colonization and slavery. Dude, the Finns were slaves. They barely finally got their autonomy. For fuck's sake, you have things like that going on.
Here is Jake the Surgeon. Naked redheads, allow me to open my secret folder and share the infinite treasure within. Hey, Jake.
Yes.
You do you, man. That's totally cool. Mike Testa.
Really need some.
Smud, it's time to let the starving black kids play. What the hell are you talking about, Mike?
What?
What are you inferring, sir? What is going on in your brain?
If Smud lets his starving African kids play, then who's going to carry him around in his little hammock with the umbrella over it?
My hammock lean-to, please. My pagoda. Here's Francis Ford Coppola. I wonder if Renegade Cut will go over the fact that the lion's share of Africa is now controlled by corporations operating under strict oversight of the CCP. Wouldn't they qualify as colonization?
No, it's because they're minorities, even though there's a billion of them, and they're people. What?
Nah.
They have a hammer and sickle sticker pasted on them, not a swastika sticker, and therefore it's good.
It's okay.
Therefore, it's not colonization.
Therefore, it's not colonization. The Renegade Cut likes does it. It's fine.
No, it's only colonization when the white people do it. So.
Yeah, but it's really just about the sticker that's on it. And it's a hammer and sickle sticker, then everything is permissible and everything will be excused. And since Renegade Cut is just doing a very huge whataboutism here, may I draw your attention back to the whole Ethiopian famine thing that was created through Marxist failure and then used as further exploited in order to consolidate power? He's just gonna ignore that because leftist policy failed and killed 2 to 3 million people. Let's not mention that. Only white people bad. Only white non-Marxist people bad.
All right. One more from Mike Testa to explain what he said before, because, of course, that's just how Mike operates. I'm referencing his Ghostbusters 2016 review. Oh, we actually covered that, I think. Honestly, I don't remember what he said because I have a life, but I'm sure it was ridiculous. But thank you for the reference.
Oh my god, I'm pretty sure Renegade Cut is listening to Crawling in His Skin while cutting himself in the toe because you said that, Smud. I hope you feel bad now, because I sure shit don't.
Apparently, he did reference our Smudcast in a tweet. He just didn't care. He's like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, all right, we'll just say whatever we like then. That's cool.
The pretending to not care, yeah, that always works.
All right.
I don't care. I don't care. Cut, crawling in my skin.
Here's Mike Testa again. Wisp, say Lord. It's time to let the children play on Mike. What?
I don't know that song.
Is that a song or a reference? I don't know what he's referring to there. Anyway.
It's time to let the children play.
Okay. Oh, that's probably a quote from Renegade Cut, actually, now that I think of it. Huh. Anyway. Doesn't matter.
Coming from Renegade Cut, it's got some put the lotion in the basket vibes to me. I don't
know. No, yeah. It's kind of...
I have to agree.
Kind of creepy. All right, Jake the Surgeon. This video is why Gustav's work is not done. Oh. Oh, boy. Here's Chris H. for the donation. Thank you, Chris. Then again, these are the type of people, leftists, who believe in the noble savage trope that only the whites are capable of doing this. The minorities are innocent hippies who are incapable of conquest because they're not smart evil enough, they say.
Even when the minorities are the global majority. But we'll ignore that little statistic.
Okay, well, we're back on topic. Okay, here's Guy Ray. Naked redheads. Is it too late to change videos? Look, I'm just suggesting an improvement.
I got some Faye Reagan shit I can pull up if you want.
I'm quite sure YouTube doesn't allow that, so I don't think we can switch.
You can. I got an Odyssey channel. We can switch over that.
Anyway, thanks for the suggestion. Keep it in the suggestions channel of the Discord, and I'm sure we'll get to your idea eventually. All right. We're 8 minutes in. Doing good. Doing well. Not bad. Let's keep going.
There's no end goal. There is only cycle. So,
were
there any countries in the real Africa, like the fictional Wakanda? Meaning, were there any countries or kingdoms in Africa that were never conquered during the late 19th century and early 20th century period? Yes, but only two. Liberia and Ethiopia.
And they look exactly like Wakanda, right, Renegade?
For Africa. It was made up of recently freed slaves from America, and this connection to a world power may have made it an unattractive target.
He did bring up Ethiopia. Let's see how much he's gonna say about it.
And Ethiopia was eventually conquered by Italy a few decades after the Scramble for Africa period.
Flat-brained
so
moron.
Yes and no. In Black Panther,
no, you liar, you liar by omission. The Italians were thrown out again. There was only 5 years that the Italians had some foot in there. They were massacred out. And their king still got a chair of honor with the queen.
Mm-hmm.
What is your fucking point? And then came the Marxist revolution, and 2.5 to 3 million people starved because of leftist bullshit. You're not gonna mention that. You just end at the Italians conquered it at some point. You don't mention that they don't anymore.
This motherfucker's brain is so flat it's 2-dimensional. Fuck. Like, Wakanda is Africa shapes. Without colonization. Oh, by the way, there were 2 African countries that weren't colonized
Ethiopia,
Liberia didn't even exist before some Americans bought land. So Liberia itself is a product of colonization, or rather a product of trying to count. How do you say this? Anti-colonization? Because the project was to give a place to the black Americans to go back to Africa. The project just completely failed because it fell into absolute corruption very, very quickly. Boy,
Decolonization.
You could say that in that case. You could make the argument that it's some sort of decolonization project.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
How are you this stupid for 20 minutes? How do you do that? How?
All right.
Why?
Halfway through.
This motherfucker has how many subscribers and he says this shit?
What, does he have a history degree or something?
They're probably just as
He
stupid
got
as
his
him.
history degree from Metal Gear Solid like the Tabernacle did.
Probably.
All right.
Dude, you can't just stop. I hope he brings up something more, but you can't just stop at, oh well, the Italians took it at some point. Yep, dude. First off, Ethiopia was a shithole backwater place before that.
God.
And after that, your ideology ruined it way further than it was developed before the Italians came. You're not gonna mention that because it's bad. It's bad for your position.
Is introduced museum scene. He pretends to be a tourist, asking an expert about the origins of African art. She
Looking
correctly
like the
gives
worst black
history of
hipster.
some, but makes a mistake on the last, not realizing
Look at
it's
that.
made of
He
vibranium
fucking
and
glued some
originated
rat
in
turds to his
Wakanda.
scalp and called
This
it a
is common
haircut.
among European nations, displaying
And his
stolen
mouth breathing.
African artifacts in their museums, thus legitimizing their colonialist past.
Who wants a mouth-breathing
France recently
king?
announced that it plans to return 26 works of art to Africa.
With a nose that
However,
wide, how
a
are you
report
breathing
from
through your
French
mouth?
historian Benedicte Savoy and Senegalese writer and academic Féloine Sarr says that France houses 90,000 pieces originated from sub-Saharan Africa. The UK and Germany have been considering loaning their stolen artifacts back to Africa, which seems disingenuous considering who historically actually owned them. The scene from Black Panther.
Looking at how Africa is treating a lot of stuff, especially in Muslim countries that try to eradicate everything that is not of Islamic origin, which means everything before the 7th century, essentially. I'd say some of the stuff is better left in other countries, yeah, because otherwise it will be gone. If in the Pergamon Museum, for example, I forgot whether if it had been transported off or whether it's a replica. But where you have the Gate of Ishtar, you can walk through it. It's life-sized. Do you think giving back the Gate of Ishtar would survive much long in an Islamized country? With the real radicals? They'd blow the fucking thing up.
Oh, but Islam didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Islam was a good boy.
Oh yeah.
Like Islam spent every Sunday spreading the
Never
word
took
of
any
Jesus
slaves.
Christ.
Yeah, never took any slaves, never cut any black man's balls or dicks off. Never raped a black woman.
Shit.
Never raped a black child. No.
All right, let's get hopefully back on topic with this wonderful super chat. Thank you, Jake the Surgeon. Every night a naked, big-tittied redhead reads me The Art of War.
Boy. Yeah, boy.
Do you want a medal? I don't know.
Yes.
Bravo.
I love it.
Anyway, Francis Ford Coppola.
Thou art a Chad, my friend.
Like,
Well, we know
listen.
if he is listening to Crawling on In My Skin, he has a second use for the 5-bladed razor. Given he needs one for every chin, can you blame him, though his wife's boyfriend probably prefers a close shave?
Well, no, I prefer to have a little hair down there when I'm fucking Renegade Cut's wife.
All right. That was not the topic I wanted to get back on, but okay.
Okay, just for reference, I put a picture of the Gate of Ishtar in the museum in Berlin, in the channel. It's the front section of it that was reconstructed in the museum. If you put that, it was the entrance gate to Babylon. If you give that thing to a country under Islamic rule, they will destroy it. Because it's, in their eyes, anti-Islamic.
I don't see Dustin Hoffman anywhere in here. How is this Ishtar?
Yeah, look at this. This is an absolute thing of beauty.
All right, here is Jake the Surgeon again. Liberia gave us General Butt Naked.
Oh, God.
So more than Wakanda.
Yeah, General Butt Naked's a great person. General Butt Naked's real nice. I love how he got away with, all the shit he did just by becoming, a Christian.
All right, here's one more. One more from Jake. Renegade Cut seems to think Africa is a monolith.
Yes. Like most white leftists, yes.
Pretty much, yeah, I would agree.
And I also think Egypt was always completely black.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
All right, we're almost halfway.
Was it?
No. What do you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Shit. No, we was Kangs. We built the pyramids and shit.
Okay.
It would be the Nubians, and they had their own style of pyramids and
We was Nubians and shit.
Yeah.
and monoliths.
Panther is a more portable way of expressing frustration at what Europe actually took from Africa. Not art and religious items, but lives, and the underdevelopment of the African continent. Effects that are still felt today. Black Panther...
Are you going to say the same
really?
about the Roman Empire and what lay beyond their borders?
The fucking London got shelled by, the Germans for years, and London's a bustling metropolis again. Like, we fucking nuked Japan twice.
German
And
cities
Japan's
were
fine.
complete rubble after World War II. There was
Yeah.
not a house standing. Freiburg was completely flattened.
And all of those countries, all those places are fine now.
It's all
But
back up.
Africa, for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know, bell curve, why that would happen. But it's a mystery, really.
You know, look, the Romans brought aqueducts and roads and all of that shit. There was good infrastructure. In India and other places got railroads built by the British Empire. Now they're falling apart. There are people in India who say, it wasn't that bad under British rule. Because the current government is neglecting these elements. It's not to say that's not saying that everything was better under the old rule. It's that the current rule is neglecting relevant infrastructure bonuses that were brought by outsiders at some point. Whether that was from technological trade, industrial, well, whatever you call it in that sense, or by occupation. Same fucking deal. You got this infrastructure now, you better take care of it. And if you don't, people will complain because that new infrastructure makes life so much easier. Africa neglected the infrastructure it got left by the colonizers.
All right. Here is Fran Mataraki. Thank you for the donation. Maybe I should ask the Dommy Mommy, my man Drex, knows to peg some sense into him and have that booty hole do its best impression of a pink sock. You're welcome. Okay. Thank you, Fran. That was earful.
That was a thing, Fran. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Like, Fran got infected by the Mike Testa virus.
Yeah. All right. 10 minutes in, guys. We are half done. That just whizzed right by. Okay.
does not exactly have one-to-one allegorical parallels.
Oh,
Killmonger
really?
is
You
not merely
think?
the
Thanks,
representative
Renegade Cut.
of
I didn't know
revenge
that.
against European colonialism. He himself is referenced by Ross as an agent of regime change due to his involvement with the United States Special Forces in one of the most overt anti-colonial moments in the film.
Well, of course he did. That's what he was trained to do. His unit used to work with the CIA to destabilize foreign countries.
Killmonger himself wants to use his power to conquer the world under the rule of Wakanda. The conflict is between isolationism, Wakanda as a hidden nation that provides neither aid nor violence to the world, or colonialism, Wakanda as an imperialist military force to rule the world under the guise of civilizing other nations. It lets the audience see Killmonger present this villainous proposal, and if they reject this as overtly wrong, the audience can also reject the apologia for imperialism and colonialism employed by majority white nations over the centuries. And yes, there are those who apologize for colonialism even to this day, with the excuse that those who were colonized and enslaved were better off in the long run, civilized by the Europeans, even if it meant stripping away their culture. This is...
I have a big problem when Marxists complain about someone else being stripped of culture. Because stripping you of your culture is all that Marxists do when they take over control of your country. For they see culture as a foundational reason for conflict. That's why they try to get rid of it and replace it with some artificial bullshit. That's why the Soviet Union invented the Soviet culture. It's an artificial construct to wipe away all basic native cultures that were part of this giant empire. And that's what the European culture is supposed to be. It's an artificial construct that has absolutely nothing to it, supposed to wipe away all the nations and the subdivisions cultures. Well, for example, we don't just have, there's no unified German culture. There are a lot of parallels in many things, but North German culture and South German culture alone are like two different countries. Then you get Bavaria, which is yet another thing. But this whole European thing tries to get rid of all of that, not just within a country, but between the countries. That's why they are coming up with this nonsense of, your country actually doesn't have a culture. It's just an amalgamation of what you took from all the other cultures. And they say that in every country. You can see the same TV ads in every European country, be it Britain, be it Germany, be it Sweden. And they tell everyone, you don't have a culture, everyone else has a culture, and you just took from it. Which is insane. You can only get away with that if the people of the respective cultures do not know that this is going on in every country. This type of Marxism that has identified culture as one reason of oppression tries to get rid of that because it thinks of it as the same as the class thing. Because that's why they propose they want to get rid of the class thing, because you can only have no conflict if there is no class. Which is also why they try to get rid of this race thing, technically, on paper. Because if there is no differences between races, race will not be a reason of conflict. The same with sex. That's why they try to erase all the dividing borders between things. Because they think as long as there are differences between things, there will be conflict. What they don't understand is that humans, like most other species, will always find one so minute thing that they will fight about and tribalize around. Well, there are tons of experiments around this. Just with, for example, give one group of people a random assortment of ethnicities and sexes, give them a red shirt and the other group a blue shirt, and they will mingle within this group and eventually dislike the other group. it's just a natural thing that happens. We are. You could say genetically written to be tribalist because we are herd animals in the end. But this herd has a certain size limit that we can comprehend. And that's not a couple million people. It's usually something around 200 or something. So yeah, the whole taking away people's culture, erasing culture. You Marxists should shut the fuck up about that because they're deliberately doing this wherever they fucking go. And they're right now doing it in the West and at the same time telling us that they're totally not doing it. It's a conspiracy theory. Yeah, by the way, your past and your culture is bad. Let's erase it and rewrite it into something else that doesn't resemble it at all. Like fuck over all your fairy tales. Yeah, thank you, Disney.
All right.
Well, Disney just kiddified it.
Oh.
Well, in a bad way. They were already for children, but that's another topic.
Okay.
Is bunk. Demonstrably false simply because people do not live in the long run, they live and die in the here and now, but it can also be proven by examining another atrocity.
No, they live in both.
Enslaving Africans for exploitation in European colonies had its roots in the exploitation of Africa itself. Again, from Thomas Puckenham.
Dude, you're leaving out that this whole slavery thing was going on before. It was not establish white colony and then take the people. They took people before there was any colony.
Also, we reached, this guy in this book said this thing. I don't give a shit about your fucking book. Let's get back to the fucking movie you're talking about, please.
Yeah, I also
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit
that.
what Sam Peckinpah is saying about whatever Africa. I don't fucking care. What about the movie?
Yeah,
We're here to talk about the movie.
And there was a point before that I already did. He's going too fast with bullshit. I can't keep up.
When you buy a ticket to a movie, you inherently are political, right?
Oh god.
I don't see Fast and the Furious for politics, okay? I watch it for the dumb shit that I know is gonna happen. It's gonna make me laugh.
All right,
I watch Pacific Rim because I want to see giant robots smash the crap out of giant monsters.
Oh, I loved it. What was it? The Japanese fucking robot? They had like a fucking. They had a sword made out of a fucking cruise liner. I love that.
I think that was.
What was that?
Didn't they just grabbed a giant tanker and used it like a baseball bat?
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. I love that.
Yeah, Gypsy Danger. That was great.
I as cheesy as it was, I still love the old Evangelion scene where the Eva 02 throws the giant dreadnought or what it was, I don't know, ship classes, at the monster it out of the sea and throws it, and it's really well animated how the thing crashes and it breaks and deforms it. And I think that's the part where a lot stuck with that. But back to the topic here, I remember what I wanted to say. He said a really dumb thing, that people don't live in the long future, they live in the here and now. Yes, people live in the here and now. Being in the here and now is something you have to learn. That is one thing, because many people are stuck in the past, other people are trapped in the future. Because they just worry about the future and make plans, but they forget where they are. And other people are trapped in the past. And I'm not talking about PTSD. I'm talking about regrets and other shit. Or the ancestors of my country are so awesome or bad. Like you take credit or guilt for what ancestors of yours did that you're not even related to, but just because it's your country. That's also crap. You can recognize that stuff and learn from it, but the relevant part is one of the Buddhist teachings or focuses is that you learn to, it's part of meditation, that you learn to be in the here and now, which means that you learn to address the problems that you're facing in the moment, and that you learn to enjoy the moment, the breaks. Because if you're always thinking about the future, you don't have you never have time to take a break to look at a tree or a cloud. Just lean back and recognize life, notice life, witness life going on. Otherwise, you'll just die after 80 years, and you've never noticed a single moment of your life because you were always thinking about the future or the past. That is why the present is important. But overall, you have to recognize all these things, the present, the past, and the future. And that is why the long future is also important, because that's long-term planning. That's what you do down the generations. It's what you do for your children and grandchildren. And that is why recognizing, okay, there was this occupational force, but they left us this cool alien technology. We can make life better for that, because we can make a better life for our children with that. If you just throw that out the window and just live in the moment, then you're gonna neglect that awesome gift, or tragic gift, if you will, however you want to see it, and just keep being some stupid tribal culture that farms rhinos. What the fuck?
But
And
the
I think this is
rhino
the problem of
Are they killing the rhinos for meat /
No, they're
sawing up
the
their
rhinos,
horns
they
or
have the
milk?
rhinos there so that they can ride on the rhinos, even though they have VTOL tech.
Yeah, it's one of their tribal bullshit things that just oh look, it's African. Oh, what can we make the Africans
Rhino.
ride into battle? Forces would be stupid. How about rhinos? Like,
Why did
oh
Do
god.
you realize how ornery rhinos get?
Yeah, domesticating rhinos is not would take I don't know how many centuries. Because in part they breed, they take forever to breed, and if you domesticated them,
No, Wisp,
usually when you
you don't
domesticate a species, they tend to look a bit different.
Wisp, you don't get it. They put the magic Black Panther balls inside the rhinos, and that made them breed more.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm sure it
T'Challa's
works
balls
that way.
or the magic balls?
Yes.
Yes, both. Okay.
All right.
This is always
Why didn't you use those rhinos in
Yeah,
Infinity War?
It's just one more thing.
We don't pay attention to continuity around these parts," said Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
anyway, back to the
One
video.
more thing. Yeah, one more thing is about this. His focus on being in the present. I think this is one of the big problems of the radical left, that they are always only in the moment. They do not recognize anything outside the moment. That's why they have the ideologically conformist history version, yeah. But as we see, they instantly forget anything that has nothing to do with what they like or want reality to be. Which is why they never remember yesteryear's first black superhero or first female superhero. Never exists. It's only right now, new movie, new video game. It's the first black female whatever thing.
Yeah, that's really getting annoying.
Yeah. And that's why they do not remember Samus Aran, Lara Croft, Bayonetta, Spawn, what was his, Blade, Hancock,
Storm,
Morgan
from
Freeman.
X-Men.
Yeah, Storm. I have Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman.
The
Probably
Luke Cage
everything
show
else
came out
was
before
nifted.
Black Panther.
Mm-hmm. And we can just go on with that.
Real quick, check sloppy chat. There's something waiting for you.
Oh no.
No, it's good.
Anyway,
Will it hurt me?
let's keep going.
No,
Let's keep going.
it's a Botan.
2/3 of the world's gold supply in the late Middle Ages came from West Africa. In the 14th century, an African Croesus turned up at Cairo on his way to Mecca. He was Mansa Musa, king of Mali, and a man to be reckoned with. He had crossed the desert with 500 slaves in his retinue, and each carried a solid gold staff weighing 4 pounds. Europe welcomed that kind of exhibitionism. Kings and popes depended on gold for more than crowns and chalices. It was then, as now, the ultimate basis of foreign trade. By the 15th century, Portuguese navigators sought to tap the gold by finding a direct seaway to and from West Africa. This would also help
I
them
bet the
acquire
gold
the
had a
Indian
very
spice
nice
trade
butt.
and Chinese silk trade if their seaway
Where
could extend
Black
to the
Cat
Indies.
Man?
They founded 2 colonies, Angola and Mozambique, but soon discovered that their gold operation paled in comparison to treasures found in what Europe considered their New World of North and South America. With Europe already established in West Africa for gold mining, it became easier to establish the West African slave trade. The Americas for cotton and sugar, Africa for the slaves to work the cotton and sugar plantations. In Black Panther, Killmonger remarks that he would rather die than be imprisoned, referencing the enslavement of his ancestors.
No.
He asks to be sent.
That fucking
What?
line. Just like fucking bury me in the ocean like my ancestors who threw themselves in because they knew that drowning was better than bondage. Motherfucker, they drowned themselves. How are they your ancestors? Shut the fuck up, Michael B. Jordan. You fucking retard. Fuck you. Also, how did you make it up a fucking mountain with a knife in your heart? Explain that to me, please. And for the love of God, if the answer is T'Challa's balls again. God damn.
Wait, hold on. Did he actually say that? Oh my god. Oh my fucking god.
Maybe it was.
Are you saying Michael B. Jordan ad-libbed that?
No, I don't fucking remember what the character Killmonger. I couldn't remember the character's name.
Oh, Eric. Yeah, like my name.
Eric.
Killmonger.
Eric Roberts. I think
Eric
was his
Roberts,
last name. Yeah.
All right. Here is.
What ancestors is he referring to, though?
The ancestors that killed themselves, even though he's currently alive.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's his spiritual ancestors.
Oh, God. Here is Francis Ford Coppola again. You guys should check out the video, What Riding a Horse Really Means. It's a bunch of hilariously bad, platitudinal, race-baiting, Marxist bullshit talking points. You guys would tear it apart. Hey, put it in the discussion for the suggestions. Go right ahead.
Wow, that's crazy. Just to ride a horse?
It would explain a lot of things about women who love riding horses, but I don't know. Anyway, and there's Mike Testa again.
You mean like Catherine the Great?
No. Here's Mike Testa. Nerd. Thank you, Mike. That's one word spelled horrifically, but that's okay.
Oh, thank you, Homer Simpson. Very cool.
And we have another Mike Testa, all in caps now. This is not going well. Where Black Catman, where Black Catman indeed. Okay. Thank you, Mike. That's great. All right, it's getting... I don't know, that headache is creeping up on me again. Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
We're good.
Into the water like slaves who leapt from the boats that brought them to the New World. He would sooner die than become a subject or captive of Wakanda. It was actually even more complicated and lethal than that, though. Perhaps a third died during transit to the slave farms of Brazil, America, and the West Indies. Although revisionist history positions the West African slave trade as less military and more business since the practice of slavery already existed in the continent among Africans, the truth is that the process by which captives were obtained by Europeans did not resemble trade. Historian Walter Rodney once wrote of the West African slave trade, "It was through warfare, trickery, banditry, and kidnapping. When one tries to measure the effect of European slave trading on the African continent, it is very essential to realize that one is measuring the effect of social violence rather than trade in any normal sense of the word." The fictional Wakanda is presented as an African nation whose people were never taken by the slave trade, and presumably never enslaved each other either. It is prosperous, and though ruled by an absolute monarchy, it is presented in every other way as modern both technologically and socially.
I was distracted. Did he mention that the Wakandans did subdue other tribes before and essentially colonized?
Nope, he did not.
Then they also
he kind of forgot about it, like D&D forgot, like Danny kind of forgot.
Danny kind of forgot about the African colonialism.
Yeah, like he forgot the rest of Ethiopian history.
Here is Francis Ford Coppola. Killmonger's ancestors were Wakandan, which the movie pointed out were never effing enslaved. I hate this movie. People praising it are idiots.
Yes.
Well, his mom was a probably African American and probably like really leftist and converted her husband to ideology.
Oh, his brain got sucked out by the magical female bits.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Wonderful.
pussy juice that makes you stupid, yeah.
It's the brain bug.
All right.
Wasn't he in the military or the CIA? I guess.
No.
He was in the Wakanda
no.
CIA.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a Wakandan war dog.
Okay.
All right.
Sci-fi elements aside, is this an accurate depiction of an African nation that never saw slavery?
No.
Possibly, according to some
No,
historians.
you fucking retard! There's no place in Africa that has robots, that has future tech and vibranium!
Alive in the Americas, Atlantic Islands, and Europe. This is considered a low estimate, though, and does not take into consideration the full impact of the slave trade. For example, the figure does not account for those who died in transit, or smuggled slaves, or those killed during the banditry of capturing slaves. Further,
Dude, I don't know when this was supposed to happen, where white guys went out, European guys, and Portuguese, depends on who you ask, whether they were anything enslaved for centuries by Islamic empires, is still considered white, as you call it. But that aside, I am not aware when this happened, where your famous white devils went out and personally enslaved, captured black people, black Africans. I am not aware of when that was supposed to happen. All the slave trade, or most of it, let's say, was already done by Africans selling their own people, or well, the tribes they didn't like, let's say, to anyone who would buy them, which is other Africans, which is the Muslims, which is the Portuguese. The people who fell off didn't make the well, fell off isn't putting it right, but didn't make it on the voyage from Africa to the Americas, dude. That's not where the problem starts, not even remotely. You have this skewed view of history that is actually hurtful to black people. Because if you want to solve the fucking problems, you can't just depict them as these people without agency, who could never do anything wrong and never did anything wrong in history. It's just absolute horse crap.
Yeah.
Isn't that the noble savage trope, technically, that they hate?
Yep. It's only racist when it doesn't benefit you, though. So.
Here is Mike Testa one more time. I ain't no helicopter papa, sink or swim looser cat. Okay, Mike. Thank you. Always
I
good
find
to
this
know.
picture hilarious because the black guy these two Europeans are subduing. He looks quite content. It's such a strange picture.
He's so happy.
Give me a minute, list. I'll improve it.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, this figure does not count the
He's
East
into
African
SMM.
slave trade or the Arab slave trade. The figure should actually
so
be
you are
many
aware of
times
it.
what European historians often cite as the official count. The massive loss to the African labor force was made more critical because it was composed of able-bodied young men and women. It's like this. Population growth played a major role in development in providing labor, as was seen in Europe and other parts of the world. Without this population growth, Africa stagnated. Example, when the inhabitants of a region in Africa were reduced below...
No. You can't tell me that a lack of population growth is Africa's problem. Because population growth is kind of the thing we got told all the time here in Europe is a bad thing, and that In Africa, you could feed 8 children for what you can feed one in up here in the first world.
No doubt.
By how much resources we invest. But that is not a problem of resources that we invest in children. It's a good thing to invest a lot of resources in children. Is that we have them available. In Africa, they're not available. In Africa, you have high child mortality, which we had in Europe as well 200 years ago, even 100 years ago. Which is what if 5 of your kids die, then you're probably gonna have 8 or 12 in your lifetime, or try to. And that means that the woman is pregnant most of the time, which means she's more limited in the work and chores she can do. That's a natural thing, because your children die all the fucking time. This goes so far as that there have been many cultures on the planet, including in Africa, where they didn't even and we did this in Europe as well, where the children weren't even given a proper name until they were like 5 or even 8 years old. Because if the child just dies anyway, just why bother with that? It's just giving you too much attachment and grief. So that's one thing. One thing Africa didn't have a problem with is population growth. Population growth Africa always had. That's why we had masses of starving people. And masses of starving people is mainly a product of Marxist policy brought there, among other things. Yes, you have natural disasters and everything. So, but where if Ethiopia, as we keep bringing up, massive famine, some natural disaster, some through natural disaster, some from Marxism. Zimbabwe, soon to be South Africa, I bet. There was a third one in that corner of Africa that also did the Marxist thing and then went to shit because of it. Don't tell me it's not. I can't wrap my head around this. That he just really says that there was lots of able-bodied working force taken from Africa, and so they had less population, so they couldn't build shit. Like, dude, they had this population for how many thousands of years, and didn't build shit. You think in the last century they would have, or the last 2 or 3 or 5? I doubt it very, very much.
Here is
why are we looking at bacteria or whatever the fuck this is instead of Black Panther? What the? I just clicked back on the fucking video. Why are we looking at this? Why are we looking at a microscope instead of the fucking movie he's talking about? Renegade Cut. What is wrong with you? You fucking smooth-headed, smooth-lobed, no-chinned fucking idiot. What is wrong with you? Get on topic for once in your fucking life. God damn.
Multiple things are wrong with this man.
Anyway. Here is.
Wait, he's also. Oh my god! I just realized he's also saying that, or he's implying that we should have more children.
Yes.
Okay, everyone, learn from Renegade Cut. Have more children. Okay. The left is now saying have more children.
I'm sure that'll work out really well with their ideas of relationships. Anyway. Let's continue. Francis Ford Coppola. I like how Killmonger is presented as heroic, even though he's a total hypocrite being part of colonization and trying to colonize people. Given how stupid his plan is, he was probably trained by the Central Lack of Intelligence Agency. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's Chris H. Thank you, Chris. Having technology and still having private customs in Wakanda was so effing retarded. We're so advanced we chose king by trial by combat. We were advanced than all races. We Wakandans are superior to all races, says Killmonger. Everyone clapped. F this movie. Okay.
And the whole thing with the trial by combat, that is the beginning of you becoming the Black Panther. If you manage to beat the Black Panther by combat, which is the whole fucking point of that. Is that you are a regular person. The Black Panther is a superhuman who also has the Black Panther habit, which has the Vibranium weave in it, which absorbs kinetic energy. If you manage to kill the Black Panther or beat the Black Panther in a fight, that means that you are more worthy of the Black Panther title than the current Black Panther.
Oh, you also get to keep the suit on?
Yes, that's part of the. Yes, that is the entire thing. If you're the Black Panther, if you're the Black Panther, and you get your ass whooped by some regular ass dude, even though you have superpowers and a suit that protects you from kinetic energy, that means you're not worthy of being the protector of Wakanda.
But Bears,
That makes sense.
it's not fair. It's.
Of course, it's not fair. That's the entire fucking point. It's a meritocracy. God damn it.
All right. Here...
Yeah, but I took that out of the movie.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I hate this fucking movie.
All right. Here's Mike Testa again. Hey, Mike. What a happy black. This reminds me of Karl Marx.
Oh, you mean the slave he owned? Oh, no, that was a white woman. Never mind.
Here's another Mike Testa super chat. I agree, Wisp. Child labor laws should be pushed.
Well, look at Congo.
Anyway, that we're 3/4 done. Bravo. I don't know what we're looking at right here, but I'm sure he'll relate it back to Marvel's universe somehow.
Ebola?
No, he won't. He's just gonna go on another tangent about Leopold II again.
Oh.
I want that Marvel show, the Ebola show.
Like, he's fucking starting from like the beginning of like our fucking this is how his fucking style is. This is the first like proteins that existed in the primordial soup. He's gonna start from here, and then he's gonna go to Leopold II, and then he's gonna equate that to Black Panther. We're gonna have the entire history of the human race from Adam 1.
All right.
Renegade Cut, tell me about the cobalt mines in. Tell me about the cobalt mines in Congo, please. That's what I want to hear from him. But I won't.
So long as it's not silicon
because
mines.
you would need to criticize fun things like China.
Yeah, well.
You can't criticize China, not with Xi Jinping's tiny dick in his mouth.
Well, we're 5 minutes away from finishing.
Yay!
So
yeah, that's unexpected.
Just keep in mind the last 2 minutes.
Just let all this play.
Just keep in mind the last 2
Oh,
minutes.
is that when the fucking commie shills his Patreon, is it?
Well, no, that's when things get crazy in general.
Oh.
Maybe not.
Spoilers!
Maybe not today, but just in general. Who knows? We'll find out.
Reduced below a certain number in an environment where disease-carrying tsetse flies were present, the remaining few had to abandon the area altogether and give up development. Slavery affected the value of Africa's precious resource and export, gold. In essence, slaving began undermining the Gold Coast economy and destroying the gold trade. Economic development at the time required the maximum use of the country's labor and natural resources. Historian Walter Rodney also posited, captives were shipped outside instead of being utilized within any African community for creating wealth from nature. It was only as an accidental byproduct that in some areas Africans who recruited captives from Europeans realized that they were better off keeping some captives for themselves. In any case, slaving prevented the remaining population from effectively engaging in agriculture and industry.
I wouldn't say that, because it depends on how you run your society. If you have a strong and rich ruling class, then all the people can be seen as just cattle. That's not a very nice thing. That kind of sounds like some vampire estate who keeps his village prosperous enough so that the vampire lord will always have a stock of life to feast on. But I forgot which one it was. Was one of the early kingdoms of Africa that the British were in diplomatic relationships with, and even built a protectorate around. I forgot which nation it was. I'm sorry. But they made most of their money from slave trade. And the British weren't too happy about that at the time already, and would have liked them to end that, but they didn't want to because it's so profitable. Africans did this long before. They exploited themselves, if anything. And in the end, it's all about sustaining the ruling class. Which, by the way, Soviet Russia looked a lot like that. Very rich ruling class, and the rest of the people were essentially slaves. Even if you don't call them that. But that's how the ruling class treats them. Cuba, same fucking deal. So don't give me this crap about, it's all white people's fault. Deprived Africa of its workforce. Oh, you don't give a shit about that. Whether you even believe it. Maybe you put the logic so that you can believe it, but
this is a really great donation from Tyler Preston. Thank you. Here's a comment from Renegade Cut's video. Thank you for such a respectful approach to history. This video should be required study in public schools. It should also be shown in every church, since the Bible says, the truth will set you free.
Yeah, I saw that comment. That was so fucking retarded.
Bro, I'm gonna get you Kurt Cobain's microphone. I'm gonna need you to sing into that real quick.
Yes, there are stupid people on YouTube. Yes, we know this. They're also ignorant at times.
But I just wonder how old they are too. Are they young people influenced by propaganda bullshit?
Oh, many of them get this in school. Like I said, in East Germany, you get all the socialism atrocities and basically history was completely omitted from the curriculum. That was in the 90s and 2000s. Never heard anything of history past 1945. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, it was just 40 years of Soviet tyranny, but no, not a single mention of anything, including the death camp in our own city, in our own town. No mention of that.
Communists didn't do nothing. Communism was a good boy.
Yeah, they just omit all their crimes and either lie about it or justify them. Just like Holocaust deniers. They're exactly the same as Holocaust deniers. They rewrite the past, they omit all the bad things, or justify them and only talk about the good things.
Yeah.
That's no different than any of these people who say that, absolutely everything was better under colonial rule. That's just as dumb. You can make a good argument here, like, yeah, okay, you got some railroad tracks here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you can make the same argument as with the Nazis invented bicycle lanes and founded some natural reserves. Like, yeah.
Fanta soda? Yeah, boy.
Well, and they invented decaf, wherever you want to see that.
Oh, well, I'm glad they lost the war now.
Yeah, but it's always an assortment of good and bad things. That doesn't mean that the good outweighs the bad, but sometimes not even remotely, or that the bad taints all the good that's been there. It's a case by case basis. Yeah, but it's really a case by case basis. And sometimes, yes, you can do all in the world, but the atrocity you committed was so bad that it doesn't matter. That can also be the case. But the way Renegade Cut put it, but you can only make that judgment if you go over absolutely everything. Hi.
You guys are still fucking going. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What? The hour's not even
Hey,
full. But what do you mean? We're still on time. Yeah, but you have to look at absolutely everything to make that judgment call. Not like Renegade Cut, who's omitting like 80%.
Well, honestly, this video is pretty lame. He's just reading a bunch of historical accounts of stuff, and it's pretty one-sided. I don't mind it, but there's nothing for us really to talk about, so it's not really that engaging.
It's just good.
Give me movie, please. We're here to talk about movie.
Yeah.
Here's another Tyler Preston donation and another comment from Renegade Cut's video. Judging by the number of comments saying, "What about the Arab slave trade?" you should put up a secret code word in the middle of the video to people that want to argue against it. And that's one of two, so I'm assuming Mr. Preston's going to send another donation.
Huh.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we'll keep going while you go with that, Tyler. Thank you.
The massive population loss stunted development of the continent. Even regions of Africa in which the European slave trade was minimal or even non-existent were affected due to the region's more legitimate trade relations with regions that were more directly affected by the slave trade. A single change can set off reactions in regions that superficially appear unconnected. Therefore, European slave trade was an underdeveloping factor for the entire continent. The fictional
Wow, that's
Oh, okay. It was a factor. Okay, wonderful.
I love these people. They just like, oh, a bunch of white people from Europe sailed across the ocean in one ship for 6 months, and then they landed on Africa, and then they just took it over with like 50 guys and started the slave trade all by themselves with no resistance. They just managed to catch wild tribal Africans on their territory with only 50 guys and supplies of like pickles and like other dried fucking nasty ass fish
and lots of port.
Yeah,
because it's still happening.
Yeah, you know their nearest backup is 6 months away, like maybe. But, you know, they just took over the entire fucking continent and instituted a slave trade with absolutely no assistance from anybody of anyone, any skin color darker than, I don't fucking know, an albino.
And what he also just did was he minimized the issue. And I don't know if he did that. He noticed that he did that by saying that it is a factor in this whole thing.
Okay.
It's not the factor, it's a factor.
Right.
Which is objectively true.
Yeah, it's
not the way he puts it, but it is a factor.
We're talking about as previously he was stating things about history. He's taking one small, very narrow view. And he's not wrong, but there's a whole mountain of history. The same with this problem here he's referring to. It's like, come on, dude. Anyone who knows anything about learning or reading about a topic was like, okay, that is a little bit of information you gave us. Thank you. Where's the rest of it? It's just, come on. I can't just buy that. Give me more. But anyway, we got that, the rest of the donation from Tyler Preston here. Then you can be sure who saw it and is arguing in good faith and who is just a reactionary, angry at the title first minutes of the video. As always, great work. Yeah, these are
reactionary. Yeah, that's a great word.
These are people who, you have an argument, you must be wrong. It's like, no, I have a legitimate problem with a lot of things he's saying, like all of it, and I need to address it. And I don't know if those are actual comments in the video nowadays, because this is a 2-year-old video. Maybe there is. I can just sort by date. I'll find out myself. But I find it odd that no one cares to watch his crap, because you look at the likes to dislike ratio, it's very, very low. So it's strange to see that there's anyone, aside from us, that I know of, actually watches this crap and cares to spend.
It has nothing to do with the movie. Who finds this video enjoyable?
It's bizarre. All of his videos have this weird historical slant, and you're like, dude, what are you getting at?
I think it's for people who are already indoctrinated into this shit and just look for more stuff that acknowledges their beliefs.
Here is random information about slavery. I'm going to talk about it. It's like, yes, this is true. How about the rest of it? How about the rest of the historical examples of all the other countries who'd wanted to invade Africa or East Europe or whatever? Pick a topic. Like, there's all kinds of historical examples.
They only like competition when white people lose.
Or do something bad. Guess what? Anytime you take over some land, bad things are going to happen. It's kind of goes with the territory. Yes. All right. 2 more super chats. We can get going. Here's Vladimir Dragonov. Thank you. Would you rather look like Jar Jar Binks or talk like Jar Jar Binks? You are not allowed to kill yours, elf.
You can. There's vocal training you can do to fix sounding like, and if it's just the voice, because it's not. So here's the thing. It's not changing your cognition.
Well, here's the thing. If you just sound like him, you can use it for like a comedy thing. But if you look like him, you can't even function.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Always the talk option.
I absolutely would not want to go into a fight with Jar Jar Binks' fucking face, with your eyes protruding out of your skull with no protection at all. What the fuck?
That's a very strange question, but I'll allow anyone. Did anyone else want to answer that? Because I'm happy.
I'd rather sound like him if I had to.
Okay. Yeah, because Like, it's not changing your cognition. It's basically just changing your voice.
Well, exactly. So it's like the way, if you sound like him, it's like, all right, your life is normal until you start talking.
Yeah, even the broken grammar.
But if you
of
look
what he's
like him,
doing.
you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Mike Testa again. Hey. Hashtag wear black Catman. We want black Catman, not you. I know, yes. Mike. That's the video we're watching. I realize it. And one more from Mike Testa. Because is he saying continent with a U instead of an O?
Continent.
Oh.
Continental.
Ah, Michael. Oh,
yeah, he's saying bitchin'.
Your genius is lost on us, my friend.
No, I got that. That was a good one.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Wisp. Vladimir Dragunov. This is the last one. Then we'll keep going. As history buffs put it, you don't build the largest empire in history by being nice about it. That's very true. Yeah.
Especially in times of industrial times.
You don't ask. You don't ask.
An empire just takes. That's true.
I mean, maybe a Canadian empire. They'd be like, hello.
Canadians would be asked to be conquered.
I don't know about that.
Canada's
pretty fucked up.
Yeah, we would be
like. I don't know about that. Canada's pretty fucked up.
I would rather have
what they've
Americans
been doing with the speech laws and shit.
Yeah, if
recently
America,
or just
you forget something.
In general. Yes, in general. If America could just take over Alberta, that'd be a good start, because then we'd lose all of our resources and money. We'd be like, oh shit, we needed that.
Or maybe Justin Trudeau could go in as a sleeper, like trying to infiltrate, but he just goes in blackface and tries to infiltrate the other African countries, right? Tries to work his way to the top that way.
He has a strange desire to dress up. I don't know why.
I think with him it's a fetish. He's obsessed with it.
It makes sense that he became a drama teacher so that he would, dress up, but he just kept doing it. He never stopped.
He mixes that up with his politics and with his... He messes up his diplomacy with that.
It's...
He's the antithesis of what the left wants in regards to cultural appropriation.
I'm not sure what he is.
He's actually doing it in an insulting way. He's truly doing it in an insulting way. Like when he went to India, he was wearing some wedding gown stuff that
gaudy
they
stuff.
only wear. Yeah, that they only wear to the very important moments in their lives.
And I don't know if you know about Indian weddings. They wear a variety of dresses, not only Indian weddings but Chinese weddings as well, depending on the region. So when Indians saw this, they said, "This is very strange." Because not too many Indian in weddings will wear those kinds of clothing. So the fact that he spent millions of dollars and brought over his own chef and invited a terrorist and all this other bullshit in the India, whatever.
I mean, imagine there was an actual Native American country that was autonomous, had its own representation in the UN and all that shit. And Justin Trudeau would come to visit on a diplomatic visit and would be dressed like like the tribal leader with the whole headdress with the black and white feathers all the way down to his shins.
And he danced with them all the same way that they would dance, but he wouldn't understand how or why with the cultural.
He'd just be singing "What Makes a Red Man Red."
And then his whole family would dress up as well, and then he'd invite some terrorist again to, there's maybe some mortal enemy of the tribe, and they'd be like, let's have pictures together with my wife and all this other crazy bullshit. Cost us hundreds of millions of dollars to sign a deal where we make 25% profit out of the Indians' investment, which is 75% profit, so we're making less than the Indians. It was a weird time, that vacation trip. Business, whatever it was, I don't even know. Anyway, we're off topic. Let's get back to the wonderful world of Renegade Cut. But before we do that, Mike Testa got caught up with us.
Yeah, boy.
Mike Testa. No, I meant this illiterate can't spell check. I'm definitely hearing a U and not an O in his speech patterns. Mike, maybe you mean he can't spell check his own script? And then doesn't know how to pronounce it right? I think that's what you mean. Right?
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's what Mike's got.
It's just a weird.
Maybe he just has
Yeah, I
a
forgot
stupid
Dunn was
accent.
here. That's right, Dunn is here.
We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Relax. Okay.
Let's keep going. Yeah, let's
Wakanda
keep going.
is the vision of an African nation that never saw slavery. It is hyperbolic and grandiose, of course, and contains a fictional and almost magical resource, but this is closer to what could have been than many seem to realize.
Really?
Wakanda most likely
Because of
had
a
the
meteor?
ability to repel any attempts at foreign banditry within its borders.
No, you can see if you want, you can see vibranium as the equivalent to oil.
Or gold.
Yeah.
You brought
There's
up
a
that
lot you
Africa
can-
was rich with gold.
There are a lot more things you can do with these resources. Of course, exploiting oil is a bit more difficult, but mining vibranium is fucking difficult. To build your if you do not know how to utilize these resources, it doesn't matter how much of it you have. And
This is the same problem in Canada.
It's like,
We have all kinds of oil,
and-
but we just ship it down to the States because we don't know how to refine it.
Oh, really?
well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. What is it? Why were the Europeans able to have all these technological advantages that allowed them this imbalance of power? You can put that on. Where do the inventions come from? That's question one. But more relevant is that things like the steam engine were already invented in the Roman Empire. But it got lost and forgotten because they didn't know how to utilize it. It was just that's an interesting gimmick. Well, what can we use it for? I don't know, opening doors maybe? I don't know. Oh, well, we can already do that by hand. Okay. Can we? So, and if you would, this is hypothetical. If you play this through, could we use it for industrialization of farming tools or production of anything? Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but slave labor is really cheap. We have slaves. That's why put effort and resources into developing this technology when we have something that already works. Which is why this technology got forgotten for almost 2,000 years. This thing existed already. So Africa could have had 2,000 years of coming up with the steam engine and catch up. They didn't. If anyone had, and for the steam engine, you don't need vibranium, you don't need oil, you don't need gold. You just need some metal. Or maybe not even that. You can build low functioning forms even with if you know how to utilize your wood properly.
All right.
The barrel, by the way, was invented in the Middle Ages. The modern one, and yeah, Africa had millennia of time to catch up.
Here's Mike Testa. We're
Fucking hell.
Black Cat Trudeau man. Oh. Hopefully,
I'm not gonna make that.
hopefully we'll not see that again. That's don't want to see him in a cat outfit, let alone a black cat outfit. That's enough Trudeau for me.
And especially not Idris Elba black cat outfit.
Oh.
If Trudeau had been around during Hitler times, he would have arrived in Germany in an SS uniform. I betcha.
Okay, let's go.
With massive population loss, Wakanda had enough people to mine their most important resource, vibranium. If Wakanda suffered the severe population losses from the slave trade, even if the nation had not been fully conquered and colonized by a European power, the minimized population would have prevented full-scale mining and...
That is such a weak argument. I can't believe he's making this.
Yeah, that's pretty weak. Population does not have anything to do with technological growth. Usually technological growth comes from warfare.
And basically any environmental pressure.
What a bizarre because there was a smaller slave trade, therefore they would have used slaves to mine more vibranium, which allows them to prosper more. When we know in the story they weren't selling vibranium to anyone.
Yeah. That's
Well, I
only
guess-
it only fueled their own technological advancements and having the better weapons to defend their shit in the more
All it would
more
have done
grounded tribal
in a
times.
certain medieval setting or whatever technological level they were at the time where they had slaves was they would all get a better fork or a cheaper
Yeah.
fork or
Wouldn't they?
whatever
Wouldn't
they
there be
would.
stories? Wouldn't there be stories all over the place of European armies just disappearing in that general area, having been murdered by Wakandan war dogs?
I believe at that time the Wakandans would have developed far enough already to have figured out how to distract those armies with their magical camouflage technology.
Fair enough.
Here's Mike Testa yet again. Did somebody say foot fetish? No.
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 Nobody.
no.
Nobody's
Once
said
again,
that.
that was you, Mike. You did that.
Yeah. Anyway, but since they put Wakanda in that area in Kenya around that large body of water, I would be very surprised if there really had been no one to map out that area. That makes no sense. Having it in some godforsaken nowhere place, like where in the opening animation the meteor hit, that would have made more sense. But that just shows a nicer place. And if you have large bodies of water, that's usually where people want to settle. If you don't, if you have in Kenya, for example, a large body of water, and there are no people who want to settle there, then that's fucked up and retarded.
Or the water's poisoned.
Yeah, or the
That's not
water's
like.
or the water's
that's not
unusable.
often
Yeah,
the case.
but you still usually can get some fish out of that or something.
Here is
In
Mike.
that case, I would need to look up what the real trouble is in that.
Here's Mike Testa once more. Looks savage for an advanced race.
I hate the scene. I hate the scene so much because they all need to have their little hole in the wall in order to get to that little spot.
Yeah,
Like the guy in the middle is just one guy.
Yeah, it's a very elaborate. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Niagara Falls. If you take the ride behind the falls, like you have to walk down and whatever. There's only one alcove. Out of all the Niagara Falls, there's just one place you can go. There's probably a second one further down, but they're the same height. There's not like 12. Like it looks like there's, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, over a dozen different alcoves and holes and pathways, and this is really elaborate for this size of a waterfall, which is very tiny compared to Niagara Falls. So
that they must have built this in something.
They had mining and all sorts of reinforced walls and all this bullshit. You're like, okay,
which is a really stupid idea under a waterfall, and they have to deactivate the waterfall by draining the water before it gets to the cliff, which is so. This is completely over-engineered just to look like, oh look, this is movie magic, super
very
sci-fi
elaborate.
stuff. No, this is geological suicide. Because they've done this for thousands and thousands of years. This place, they cannot have used this place in all that time because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls, for example, is a great example. As you know, the lower part where the falls fall into, that's a very long canyon, a very long low plain. And this is because slowly over the centuries, over the millennia, the waterfall is eroding the earth, is eroding the cliff. So there will be pieces dropping off once in a while. Most of it is washed down very, very slowly, like grain by grain. The thing moves into the land over the centuries, which means that in a couple of centuries they would need to relocate all the stuff further inland and probably move the bridges and stuff like that. That will take tons of time, but it will. Building your shit here like this is just stupid. It works for a couple generations, but not as long as Wakanda existed, because Wakanda is this essentially goes back to this birth of humanity thing. That's what, 20,000, 30,000 years, maybe more.
Anywho.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
And they dance like white people.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I got 2 sisters, right? They dance better than me. I dance like my dad, and he was a fucking cripple.
Here's Mike Testa in all caps. Somebody's poisoned the water hole. Thank you, Michael. That's great.
I'm sorry I ramble so much on about this. I'm just in the
Mike
midst of
Testa's
watching this
a
movie, and it's so
Woody
fucking
doll.
bad.
Holy shit. That explains so fucking much.
Anyway, let's just
Pull the drawstring on the Mike Testa doll, and he says,
mosey
fucking-
on. Let's just keep going.
May have resulted in being forced to abandon the area containing vibranium altogether due to the ratio of human to tsetse fly population.
Why?
Only by the presumed fictional weapons used to repel the invaders could Wakanda have survived the attempt at enslavement.
No.
All you
No,
had,
they had-
all you had were better spears and maybe better shields, although you still make them out of wood.
There was When
That's
did they
all
make?
they had.
When did they make?
Any tribe with better tactics, with better strategy, would have beaten them.
When did they have the giant illusionary shield that they erected?
Don't know, it just happens.
It just happens. Not 200 years
Yeah.
ago, or 300 years ago, or 400. Just
They probably had that technology 2,000 years ago.
2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
They're
They
so
probably
advanced.
Had all that stuff. Yeah, they probably had that stuff for forever.
Jeez.
Yeah, but really, and if you go back into the ancient past, all they would have had in the beginning would have been better spears. That's all. And better spears doesn't mean you win, because that's still just spears. That's still just pointy stick. Pointy stick against pointy stick doesn't matter how good your metal is. In the end, if the others are more proficient at using it, okay, the Wakandans probably have that because they got the goddess's blessing. But if you have better strategy, doesn't matter. If you are the one with better strategy, you can win against an army that is 100 times more than you have. The vibranium alone doesn't give the Wakandans an edge in making it through history. It's in part luck.
The much less well equipped English longbowmen beat Milanese plate equipped French knights.
Okay, here's one more Mike Testa super chat. Wakandans did 2001 plane in 2 towers. Changed my mind. What?
Read that again, please. 'cause I-
Wakandans did.
No, don't translate it, please.
I can't translate. I'm reading
I-
exactly what it says.
How can you not? This is obvious.
No, I think I can. I'm learning Mike Testa over time. Let me see if I can decode this.
Wakandans did 2001 plane into towers. Changed my mind. Okay.
Oh.
They committed
Okay.
they committed 9/11 essentially.
Oh, okay, yes.
Whoa! Don't say that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So long. Okay, so the Wakandans did 7/11. Okay.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay.
Both
I love
areas
the
of
Eclipse
population
Slurpee.
as seen here. But real African nations were not Wakanda. The real African
No
population
shit, really?
was not Wakandans. The offensive idea put forth by slavery apologists and colonialism apologists that
What the hell is a slavery
There are
apologist?
no
The
What?
Clintons.
there's no such thing as a
Arabs?
colonialist apologist. That is
The
so
Clintons.
dumb.
The Clintons and Arabs are the slavery apologists.
Qatar and
White
China
people,
are
I guess,
slavery
I don't know.
apologists, maybe.
Maybe.
White America. They're the They're just slavery
This is
apologists.
America.
That would be a very strange history lesson. I'm like, wow. Okay. Wait a second. There was a video I almost watched. We covered yesterday or the day before. It was yesterday. That the guy was
Oh
saying
shit! That fucking looking weird fucking goat wolf man with the stank feet.
the furry
No.
feet.
Oh
Go-
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we didn't watch that.
We didn't watch that. It almost came through though.
I voted for that one. I actually took my vote off of one of the other ones just to try and get that one played.
We only didn't watch that because Seda had time and wanted to do the other video.
Yeah.
God damn
And
it,
that
Peter.
saved
I-
us.
So So how much would it take to watch Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas live on Smudcast?
We could
Out
do
of curiosity.
a voice on the radio thing where he would be happy to record all of our reactions. That could work fine.
Well, actually, you don't need to. It's just on YouTube for free. You can just watch it. I already did that on my channel. We had no copyright strikes.
Oh, that's fine. But I think it's because it's so long. It would be rather be something that voice the radio.
It's only an hour and 50. It's only an hour and 15 minutes long.
That's long.
The whole movie.
For us, that's long. That'll take like 2 days. So, like 2 full days, not like two viewings, like 2 full days, like 48 hours. So.
Because you got to remember, we pause it like literally every 6
Well,
seconds.
the movies not so much, but sometimes we get a little.
Oh, with Black Panther, I would.
Well, that's what I mean. That's.
I mean, I basically did, and spammed the chat with, "What is this scene? How? Why? With this line? What? What now?"
All right.
Basically,
Well,
all of my responses
Why don't
are,
you-
"This is explained in the comics and not in the movie. That's what makes this movie dog shit."
okay. Anyway, well, that's a
With diversity, guys.
that's a conversation for
Fuck
another time.
diversity.
If you guys want to do it, keep going in the chat, and we'll be happy to discuss that on the
Oh,
Discord.
come on!
We're almost done. We're at
Come
18
on,
of
it's not
20.
free anymore. BS. Go get sodomized with a cactus, Kirk Cameron.
Okay. I guess it's not free anymore.
What happened? What just happened?
You have to pay for it.
Kirk
Anyway.
Cameron Saving Christmas isn't free anymore.
Oh. Anyway.
Done.
Anyway, here's
What?
here's Mike Testa one more time. There's a snake in my boot. Thank you, Mike.
You meant to say steak, really?
Snake.
What? No,
Oh,
I said earlier that Mike Testa is a Woody doll, and he just played right into it.
Oh, I thought he said steak.
I'm just doing my duty. I don't know what it means. I just do
There's
it.
a
Anyway,
snake in my boot.
here's Vladimir Dragunov.
Okay.
Americans are terrible at chess. We lost 2 towers in 1 move.
And you haven't properly identified Mordor.
Oh no.
What kind of towers was it? Was it white or black towers? Like,
It was Isengard and the other thing.
Isengard.
All right. We are 18 minutes.
That is not how the crowd's pronounced.
We have 2. This is the 2-minute mark, guys. This is where things get hopefully less crazy, but often not the case.
Interesting.
yeah, where it gets dialed up to 11.
Yeah.
Africa eventually benefited economically by the presence of European colonialism and the West African slave trade completely falls apart under the careful examination of history, economics, and even simple elementary mathematics.
Okay. Can you give us an example of those 3 things where it falls apart?
No.
Simple economics or mathematics should be very straightforward.
What does it make fall apart?
Let me rewind it for you.
Of European
was a bit
colonialism and the West African slave trade completely falls apart under the careful examination of history, economics, and even simple elementary mathematics.
I still don't understand what he wants to say.
Try it one more time.
I don't think he does either. He's
Big-
just
big-
saying-
big- go a bit
idea
further
put
back.
forth by slavery apologists and colonialism apologists that Africa eventually benefited economically by the presence of European colonialism and the West African slave trade completely falls apart under the careful examination of history, economics, and even simple elementary mathematics.
Okay. He's mixing up several things, which is colonialism and the slave trade. Those are not the same things.
Yeah,
I doubt
they're
that
different.
that
colonialism happened as a result of the slave trade closing up in Europe.
yeah, and the
Wait a minute,
only
so
way
is
that
he- wait a
Africa
second, so it sounds like what he just said is that when white colonists purchased slaves from the West African slave trade, the Africans did not benefit from those trades. That's what it sounds like he just said. He just said it in a more complicated way.
Yeah. That's one implication, and that already doesn't.
So
make
is he
sense,
saying
because
that they gave us
that
the
was
slaves for free? What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Yeah,
Yes.
What he also, yeah, if you make the economic argument, it goes first. It gets really ugly because then we are talking about humans as commodities. which is what slavery is in large parts
Oh,
about.
we're talking about black people, not
But
women.
he also leaves out that, well, if you sell out most of your population, then you also need less people working in the agrarian sector because you have less people to feed. So you're basically solving two problems in one. You get money by selling off people that you have no use for, because if you had use for them, you would put them to work yourself in your own slavery system. But you have excess people that if you sell them, you don't not just make a buck, you also don't need to feed them anymore. That's the one thing he doesn't understand. But that's just the slavery side. And as I said, I forgot which country it was. I mentioned it before, and I didn't look it up during the stream again. Their whole economy was based on slavery before the Brits got there. Black people enslaving other black people. Because, well, our tribe is the better tribe and the other tribes are shit. So, and we're stronger than the other tribes, so we win. We get to enslave you instead of you enslaving us. That's the game. So, the colonization thing, the colony thing, is a completely separate issue. Because that is the argument of that is the colonizers bring higher level technology, bring infrastructure to those places. The question then is, once the colonizers leave, do the natives maintain the infrastructure and technology they got left over by this higher level civilization that is now gone? It's like the Romans building aqueducts, and after they're gone, nobody maintains. And once the aqueduct breaks down, the people who were dependent on the water supply now go without water. And still nobody repairs the fucking aqueduct. That's the kind of problem that is happening there. So that's how they could have profited from the colonization, but they didn't. Whether they were not capable or just didn't care, I don't know. It's probably a case-by-case basis.
All right. We have 4 super chats from Mike Testa. I'm going to do my best to go through them quickly because, I'm human. Here we go.
Sure.
There's a sink in my foot. I am the walrus.
I love that.
Goo could you, Mike Testa.
I do not know what is going on, but I love it.
Here is, okay, I don't know what this word is, but it's Closian Ooltism. Closian Ooltism
Colonial.
Closional.
I think it's colonialism. Colonialism is complex. Colonialism is complicated. Tim Pool.
Okay.
Yes.
And also, nice new avatar wisp. Oh, what, you just noticed that now? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Botan
you
just
changed
made
it?
that.
Nice.
That's what Bears told me. Botan just made that,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. And thank you, Botan. I would have given a shout out at the end anyway, but this is yeah. Thank you very much. It was a very nice surprise.
Back on the wonderful Renegade Cut logic here.
Yeah, and
Wonderful.
last thing. Inquisitor Matthews in the chat said the country I keep forgetting about is the Kingdom of Togo. That was the one. Big in slavery before the British came.
Yeah,
and the British then turned it into a protectorate. So they had to protect, due to diplomatic relationships, had to protect even the slavery policy of Togo.
Yeah, we have to
even though they didn't want to.
He's referring to the Africans, which is a continent. So every single person on that continent did not benefit from.
Yeah. He's Renegade Cut is generalizing like mad. Like you cannot do this with the entire continent. It's too big. It's way too big. For a small and more homogenized thing like Australia, you could make arguments that are more simple in that regard. But Africa is there's just way too much going on.
Yeah. Okay.
1950s, 1960s, Africa was effectively decolonized. During World War II, President Franklin D. Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill convened to discuss the post-war world.
Wait, if it's decolonized, then why are we bothering still?
Maybe this is a different conversation.
Okay.
The result was the Charter. It was not technically a treaty and was not submitted to the British Parliament or the US Senate. It was more of a guideline, a campaign promise of sorts. One of the provisions introduced by Roosevelt was the sovereignty of imperial colonies. After World War II, the African colonies put pressure on Britain to abide by the Atlantic Charter. Churchill strongly disagreed, but with mounting pressure within his own country, and with the UK broke following the war, they couldn't really afford to fight back anyway. Some African nations gained independence through protest and politics, such as in Ghana and Congo, and some nations fought their own revolutionary wars, such as in Algeria and Morocco. Africa is still putting itself back together after centuries of conquest, colonization, and exploitation by European powers.
It had those same problems before by itself. Like every other continent on the fucking planet. And the German colonies, by the way, they were abandoned or discontinued under Bismarck because he decided that this is just dabbling in nonsense. We have local problems, so we're just shutting that crap down. It's just costing money. We don't get anything out of it. This is nonsense. This was done for prestige and playing around on the world map, not for any good reason. There's no sense in doing this. So that was the realization, due to the realization that we have too many local things in our own nation to focus on than waste time and resources on some other part of the planet. Yeah, that was that thing. Yeah, Africa had the Africans were doing all this shit to themselves before any European ever set foot there.
How exploitation of Africa changed over the centuries, but never really ended. Claw laying waste to Wakanda for their most precious resource, Vibranium, is not too dissimilar from the supply chain of coltan and cobalt that go from African child labor to American businesses. But that is a topic for another day.
Oh, he brought cobalt up. Uh-oh.
Oh, really?
Please fill me in. I'm not sure what that is.
Well,
it's in Congo is the main source of cobalt for that we use in all our
that's what you mean. Okay, like the resource cobalt. I see what you mean now.
Yeah,
I thought it was like some kind of like terrorist or like activist organization or something.
Yeah, and well now it's mainly that is mainly done through child labor. Like 5 to 8 year olds are the main workforce.
5-year-old terrorists, though.
Boy, here's Mike. These are all caps, so good luck. Of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings.
That sounds historical.
It sounds like a poem from a story. I just don't know. Mike,
they rhyme, right?
I just don't. I'm turning into Willem Dafoe from The Lighthouse. Oh, wow.
Oh dear, that's a dreadful prospect, to say the least.
That is a very change of behavior there, Mike. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but we'll find out. Okay, so Wisp was talking about cobalt a few minutes ago, or rather an hour ago. We're not going to get into that, but even Renegade Cut was aware that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, but yeah, basically, I said what needs to be said about it.
One of the rare moments of lucidity from Renegade Cut.
All right.
Hi everyone. You may
That's all he says about
it? That this was a particularly difficult episode to research.
Why?
And write.
Why?
Some of the
this
stuff
Black
is
Panther.
just horrible, and
why?
That's why there's a
Why you left
content
out
warning in the
everything
beginning.
that makes you look like shit.
It was horrible because it was hard to read because of the topic. Are you? What? This wasn't like a murder investigation.
You're a pathetic wanker.
I would almost guess that it was hard for him to read because there's so much against his position that he has to leave out.
Probably, yeah.
Like it's for his position. This is a blowfish.
Of all the other,
This is one little slice that he can use for his argumentation, and all this giant stuff around it that he has to cut away, or he poisons himself.
of all this other
Poisons his
insane stuff,
ideology.
he has said this he has to stop and pause and say, hey, guys, this was really hard to do because the topic is so difficult to talk about because slavery is bad, okay? And I had to research.
I mean, maybe if he had actually talked about the movie, it would have been easier.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
But he's
call me crazy.
basically, it's like the thing yesterday. He's just he just brings up the movie as a bait, and then talks about nonsense ideology stuff. That is
Why doesn't he
handpicked,
talk
cherry
about
and cherry
ideology
picked.
then? Why does he have to bring in this movie out of all the movies he could have brought in?
Because it's like Sarah said, a bait and switch, and I try to figure out because I like the metaphor of the lanternfish for this. Because it's this glowing thing. Like we watched this because this came up because Black Panther, Africa without colonization. Yeah, and then he talks about this for like 20 seconds, and the rest is just ideological, cherry-picked, distorted history bullshit. And he's stopping at this point because he exhausted all the radical left talking points. That's why he's stopping. And if he keeps on talking now, he has to get into the real shit. That's why he mentioned the cobalt issue, but didn't elaborate on it.
Whew, all
Why
right.
he mentioned Ethiopia, but didn't go into the depths of it.
So
Because that's a video for another time.
yeah. So I guess
That
we
will
don't
never
have.
be made.
I guess we don't have any stream memes because Bears was in the actual chat. He's too busy to do that.
He still is.
Yeah. So we
He's
don't.
still here.
So we have no stream memes. We're good, right?
Look at him. Stop looking at me.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
do.
him.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We absolutely do.
Okay. Let me bring him up.
I love you, Bears.
Thank you. I love me too.
We all love
yeah.
Oh my god.
Bears is
This is my exact question. I was like, what the hell? Anyone know why Bears hasn't posted any stream memes? Yeah, he's in the chat, but apparently that didn't stop him.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what happened is like they had me do a couple things at the shop, and then the rest of my day was going to be paperwork. But like I basically asked him, can I just go home and do it there because doing this paperwork on my phone is complete fucking ass.
Oh, wow.
So I got to go home early.
Nice. That's crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What the heck is this? What is happening? How many arms are... What is going on?
Yes.
I can't... There's so many arms. I don't... Mike Test is in there too. What the hell? All right. Whatever. I mean, you guys like your redheads. That's fine.
Mhm.
Here is the picture from Wisp. What is going on here? Who are these guys?
I have no. Who did you put there? One guy looks like Jackie
That's,
Chan.
That's Justin Hoffman and the other guy from Ishtar.
Ishtar.
Oh.
That's him? Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, the background picture that is the actual reconstruction of the gate of the entrance portion of the gate of Ishtar in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin. It's the whole floor is just absolutely amazing. They have original Greek stuff there. That is just the stairs of, my god, I forgot all the names. Like half is the originals and the other half is reconstruction that you're allowed to walk on. And I once accident because I was a little kid. Because in the back they have a bunch of really cool mythological and historical marble work, and so I spent an hour in there just listening to the talks that you get on this little device. And when I got back out, I was a bit exhausted and tired from it. I got out on the original stairs, and then the didn't notice, and the security guy just pointed at me, "Hey, careful!" And then I noticed, and I froze and didn't know how to get off, and took giant, careful steps to the real side. And he found it funny how I suddenly was taking care so much, not like just going over. It was, yeah. Anyway, if you ever get to Berlin, why ever you should, because it's German California, go to the Pergamon Museum. It's amazing. If you love history, go to this museum. You want to see it.
All right, here is Renegade Cut's face. Oh,
Is that really his face?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, he was rambling on about.
Smud. Well,
It's so weird.
yeah.
His voice is like so, I don't know, feminine.
Soft.
Well, I mean, he looks
No.
like, yeah, he's like soft. He looks like an old baby.
What is going on here? Who's this gentleman?
I think his voice just sounds like exhausted and beaten.
I don't know, because
Not feminine, just exhausted
to
and beaten, like
articulate.
something internally has given up.
Who is this guy?
it's just
That's
good.
Leopold
That's how he
II that
sounds
he's
like.
pointing at.
That's Leopold.
Yeah.
All right.
He doesn't have as awesome a beard.
Oh my God! What is happening here?
Either Yokai or Dunn said that the character's name was Eric Roberts. Oh, God.
What is? I don't even. Is that Hillary Clinton? What the?
That's Eric Roberts.
Oh my God!
That's Eric Roberts and Eric Killmonger.
Eric Stevens, I think. Yeah. I don't know why Eric Roberts.
And, well, you know, that's just that.
All right.
I find that picture is a much more accurate depiction of the present day.
Okay. Here's there's Justin.
Yes, definitely.
Jeez.
How did this guy never get done in by cancel culture? I
Because
don't get it.
because we're Canadians and he's the good
He
guy.
did 1,000 of these things.
And he apologized, so it's okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter when anyone else apologizes.
No, no,
If
no.
I ever
no.
get the chance,
He's
if I ever
a
get the chance to direct a Black Panther movie, it's gonna be starring Justin Trudeau in blackface versus Eric Roberts.
Anyway. Here is Justin Trudeau in Native American something or other. I don't know what that is.
That's a tribal leader
I
thing.
What
guess.
makes a red man red?
Chieftain. Chieftain
A
was the word I
chieftain,
was
there you
looking
go.
for.
Yeah.
Hey.
And here is Mike Testa with his wonderful quote. Where was that quote from again?
Oh yeah.
Super chat. I don't know.
Someone
It's
in
amazing though.
someone in chat gave it to him when he posted it. So good for you there, Mike. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. All right. I think we're done here. Let's see. All right. Tyler Preston.
That was just lame.
I don't know
Lame.
what that
we need
was.
To do we need to do an extra bad Maggie May Fish video next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was
Oh,
surprisingly
boy.
bearable.
Here's a
Maybe we
donation.
do how-
So kids, what did we learn?
She's crazy.
That the Black Panther is shit and that that the Black Panther is shit and that the Christopher Priest run of Black Panther books along with the original
Yes.
Stan Lee Jack Kirby books.
Yes, absolutely.
We should read those. Okay. And Mike Testa, Super Chat, you guys forgot to put Quentin on the cave paint. Oh.
I ran out of space. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Quentin doesn't need to be everywhere. Come on, guys. That's too much. Too much Quentin is bad for
No, you don't.
I already made
You don't
Quentin
like
a
Quentin?
solace. What more do you want?
Oh. And one more, of course, Mike, I don't know if you do this for fun, but it's your money, man. What makes the red men red? What makes the red? Okay, Mike.
Hey.
Alrighty.
Why does the red?
3 hours a bit. That was not bad. I thought it would take in 2 days, but no, it's just one night of crazy Friday Renegade Cut nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, he was just stating basic information they could find on the internet, I guess.
And just skewing it in a certain way without mentioning all the other facts and history surrounding a bloody continent for hundreds of years. Thanks, Renegade Cut. Bravo. Your skewed view of history. So much information. Good stuff.
Yeah,
You are so
just because of
pathetically boring that we
Disney
only took 3
movie.
hours to cover your crap.
Yeah. So, thank you guys. It's been a swell time. My headache is not surfaced, so I feel much better. It went away. I don't know why, but maybe it's the humidity.
Because of the memes, right?
The memes, the
Yeah,
humidity.
boy.
I don't know. It's just a good night to relax and chill out and take it easy. So, thank you so much for a good time. I appreciate it. Have yourself a great evening. We'll talk to you real soon tomorrow. And keep the suggestions coming. I know you had a few. Keep them into the suggestions channel. And I'm sure we'll get around to voting on them. So thank you very much for your time.